Fine, who's standing by in our Atlanta studio.
All right, thanks very much, Chip. Welcome back to TBS Sports Control, presented by MasterCard. You guys actually flying solo today. Braves and the Cubs, the only afternoon game on the slate. There is news to bring you up to date on, though. Major League Baseball has responded. We had this incident on Saturday, Cubs and White Sox. Michael Barrett has been suspended for 10 games, fined an undisclosed amount of money. A.J. Pierzynski, who took that punch, has been fined. Brian Anderson gets 5 games and a fine. Third base coach Joey Cora, 2 games and a fine. Barrett has already appealed the suspension. He's in the lineup today, actually batting cleanup. We'll have him and the Cubs taking on the Braves. It's coming up next on Braves TBS Baseball.
I never made it to the show because they said I was an inconsistent hitter.
To say Rod was inconsistent is probably an understatement.
But now I'm in Osaka and everything's good.
There you go, there you go.
What did he say? People in Japan, they don't care about RBIs. They care about the long ball. I consider myself an entertainer, and people over here love me for it, and I love them for it. I'm a big star over here.
Are you ready for the show? MLB 06, the show. Rated E for everyone.
I felt that.
I think it happens to a lot of guys over 50. See, I was always going during the movies and hating to stand up, going during a presentation and hating to stand out.
For you this afternoon.
And once I got there, I had trouble going, and I was going 3 times a night. I said to my doctor, I have a going problem. He said, you have a growing problem. It's not your bladder. Your prostate is growing. See, I had an enlarging prostate. My doctor prescribed Avodart.
Most medicines only treat symptoms. Avodart, with time, actually shrinks the prostate and improves urinary symptoms.
So I can go more easily when I need to go and go less often.
Only your doctor can tell if your symptoms are from an enlarged prostate and not a more serious condition such as prostate cancer, so have regular prostate exams. Avodart is for men only. Women should not take or handle Avodart due to the risk of a specific birth defect. Tell your doctor if you have liver disease. Rarely, sexual side effects, tenderness, or swelling of the breast can occur. Call your doctor today. Avodart for your growing problem.
A John Deere 100 series can be yours starting at $13.99. Welcome to the John Deere neighborhood. Now available in more stores than ever. See the full line at johndeere.com.
Introducing Aqua Velva Ice Balm Aftershave. Alcohol-free, vitamin-infused, it firms and tones skin. New Aqua Velva Ice Balm with a fresh, clean scent. Skincare from A to V.
Braves TBS Baseball. Brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. By PlayStation 2. Live in your world. Play in ours. By Minwax. Turn your house into a beautiful home with Minwax, wood stains and finishes. And by Best Buy. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours.
It's turned out a beauty here in Chicago today. Temperature's supposed to be about 72 degrees at game time. And here's the Principal Financial starting lineup for Bobby Cox today, with Giles, Renteria, and a red-hot Chipper Jones in the top of the order, followed by Andrew Jones and Adam LaRoche. Jeff Francoeur struggling a little bit on this road trip, and he's followed by Langerhans, Pratt, and Hudson. Carlos Zambrano will turn 25 on June 1st. Big guy, 6'5", 255 out of Venezuela. He's in his 5th year, a 51-37 career mark, 2-1 lifetime against Atlanta. He's 3-0 in May with a 1.50 ERA.
And he goes to work. Marcus Giles looks high, and we're underway from Wrigley Field. Great way to start the holiday weekend in Chicago. The ivy in full bloom, a gorgeous day here near Lake Michigan. And Zambrano behind Marcus, 2 balls, no strikes. Marcus 4 hits on the road trip in 21 tries. And look at our umpiring crew. Brian Honora behind the plate, Phil Cuzzy, Jerry Crawford, and Julius Chuck Merriweather umpiring over at third.
Zambrano leads the National League in strikeouts, 1 more than Pedro Martinez. He's pitching great. Were it not for him and Greg Maddux, I don't know where the Cubs would be.
Well, they might be just a shade worse than the Pirates.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is only 3.5 games behind the Cubs, which, considering Pittsburgh's awful start, no one in this town thought possible. But it's all fallen apart very, very badly for Chicago in May. And the Braves want to take advantage of that. And a good start for Atlanta. Giles coaxes a leadoff walk, and it sets things up for Edgar Renteria.
And that is a good sign for Atlanta. Getting Marcus on base and trying to get a run or two early against this guy. We know that Tim Hudson's been pitching well, but this guy's actually been a little bit better. And runs should come at a premium today for both sides.
Edgar hit a home run on the road trip. Hit one into the kitty box. I don't know what you call it, right down the right field line at Petco Park into the stands where Brian Giles was playing. And the infield comes in at the corners thinking a bunt might be in play, and Zambrano hits the inside corner. Renteria has hit Zambrano very well. He's hitting the ball very well overall this season, but 10 lifetime hits against Carlos. Much of that damage coming while Edgar was starring with the St. Louis Cardinals. And quickly he falls behind, 0-2.
Braves are 24-23. That's 37 games, and he's hit safely in all but 2 of them. I'd say he was a pretty nice pickup.
I would say so. Zambrano is the Cubs stopper. They were swept on the road by the Marlins. Late swing, and he stays alive. A lot of folks in this town wondering about the fate of Dusty Baker, the Cubs manager. That's been talked about endlessly, not only in Chicago but around baseball. He's in the last year of his deal. And whatever the fate of Dusty Baker is right now, the way, Joe, the Cubs are constructed right now, I don't know if anybody would come in and make a difference.
Well, let's face it, they're missing Derek Lee, and when you're missing the defending National League batting title winner, that's a big hole in your lineup. Todd Walker's having to play first.
Zambrano strikes out Renteria, 1 away. Here's Chipper.
And here is the defensive alignment for Chicago today. Freddie Bynum is in left field. Juan Pierre over from Florida is in center. Jock Jones over from Minnesota in right field. Ramirez, Ronnie Cedeno, Nathan Perez, and Todd Walker on the infield, and Michael Barrett doing the catching while he appeals that suspension.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on that as Chipper stands in? Barrett given a 10-gamer by Major League Baseball.
Too many games. Way too many.
Chipper digs in. Zambrano stretching, and a good cut. Why too many? I mean, I'll play devil's advocate. He slugged the guy.
Well, he got run over. He got up, and
clean
then
play.
It was a clean play, but then all of a sudden Przinsky's running back into him. I don't know where he was going, but there was another collision, if you want to call it that, and I'm not sure that Michael Barrett knew what was going on. And there are a lot of people in baseball that say 10 games is too many because sometimes the other guy deserved what he got.
Giles back safely at first. Well, I think it's safe to say that if there was a player that more guys in baseball were happy to see slugged than Przinsky, he'd be tough to find.
Well, let's put it this way. Michael Barrett has to take up a collection for a fine. He won't have any trouble getting donations from other players.
No balls and a strike. The count to Chipper. And he hits the outside corner. Nasty pitch. 0-2 your count.
Zambrano can blow you away with a good fastball. He's got a good slider. His ball has some sinking action to it, which makes it a so-called heavy pitch, meaning a lot of balls hit off the end of the bat. He's just a tough guy to hit, especially for right-handers who are only hitting him at a 154 clip.
He's got Chipper in a 2-strike hole. No movement from Giles at first. Fly ball, well hit right field. Jock Jones on the run at the track, at the ivy. He's got just enough room. Mother Nature saved a 2-run bomb for Zambrano. 2 outs. And no other place in professional sports is the outcome of the game determined by Mother Nature more than Wrigley Field, and there's a textbook example.
Wind blowing in, and it doesn't have to blow in very hard to affect the flight of this baseball. Chipper didn't get it all. Hit it off the end of the bat a little bit, but you can't come much closer to landing it in the basket than that. Zambrano caught a break.
And everybody talks about this place being a great hitter's park. This is a tough place. The wind blows in about 70% of the time. In an 81-game home schedule, as Andrew looks a little low, 1 ball, no strikes. So if you can get guys that sink the ball like Zambrano and line drive hitters, you got a chance. But the Cubs right now don't have enough of either. Andrew, a 2-homer game in San Diego. And how about the play by Mike Cameron in center on the second one? Almost came up at the center field fence, and he knocked it over for number 11 for Andrew Jones.
Landry was due a little good fortune. He'd been struggling, and maybe that'll help get him kick-started a little bit.
Yeah, he had 71 at bats between home runs.
Yeah.
Then hit 2 in as many turns up in San Diego. Walked twice, scored 3 runs on Wednesday night. And here are the blasts at Petco.
Not much doubt about that one. And then the straightaway center field, you can see how far away it is. Right at the 400-foot mark, 396 to be more exact, and Cameron almost robbed him.
Andrew moving up in the batter's box against Zambrano. Don't see that too often. And taking all the way, 3 balls and a strike. What's that do for a hitter?
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing it does is shorten the distance on the fastball. That's not necessarily a good thing, but it could be that he's had some trouble with his slider in the past. But look how spread out he is, more so than we've seen earlier this year.
That was the move that paid dividends for him last season.
Sure is.
3 balls and a strike. There's a wicked slider. It's off the plate. Ball 4. 2 are on, 2 out. Zambrano with a couple of walks. And let's see if Adam LaRoche can cash in a 2-run, 2-out scoring opportunity for Atlanta.
You saw Zambrano shaking his head too. He either thought he had a pretty good pitch made there or upset with himself. And people will tell you that sometimes he's his own worst enemy, that he gets upset with himself. That was a pretty good pitch. Nothing wrong at all with that pitch. Now you know who he was upset with.
That doesn't help you either if you glare at the home plate umpire. They're not going to take too kindly to that. Here's Adam. And he misses high and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Zambrano, a guy, if you get him early, you'd better take advantage. Because once he gets rolling, awfully tough to hit. Rancourt would be next. 2 on, 2 out, a pair of walks. Pickoff play at second, and Giles got in the back door. How in the world did he make it? Nice pickoff. Cedeno came dancing in at the bag, and Giles almost slid in from center field.
I don't know how he made it. You don't see a guy come back to the bag from this angle. He was behind the line, and I think Marcus caught a break only because second base umpire Jerry Crawford couldn't see where the hand got to the bag on that angle.
And Cedeno might have tagged his own foot before he got to Marcus on that play too. 1 ball, no strikes. Good cut. Evens up the count.
From this angle, Cedeno's got his foot in front of the bag, blocking Marcus a little bit. The gloves down, and Marcus's hands were still sliding. I think Giles was very lucky. You're taught to take your lead behind the line between second and third so that you've got a better angle coming into third base to cut down your turn there in the event of a base hit. And you have that luxury since there's nobody holding you right at the base.
Missed the back door. Zambrano missing, but by a hair's breadth. 2 balls and a strike. Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach of the Cubs, probably won't have Kerry Wood Sunday. Now it's ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Kerry Wood still sore after his last start. They're going to hold him back and pitch him Monday against Cincinnati.
Yeah, and I mentioned Derek Lee, but I didn't mention Kerry Wood missing most of this season already, and Mark Pryor hasn't pitched at all. And when your 3 big horses are out, it doesn't leave you much to work with.
So good pitch for LaRoche here. 3 balls and a strike. And he pulled a string.
Yeah.
Full count.
Change up. Good pitch. 3-1.
Braves lead baseball in runs scored on the road, but they're 20th in batting average. That's somewhat surprising. And they've really struggled offensively on this trip, yet have a 3-3 record. Brown in Chicago wants Zambrano to get out of a first inning jam. Runners go. That'll do it again.
I don't know if it's just that I haven't seen Adam swing in a couple of days or what it is, but you know, I know he had a stiff neck that knocked him out of a couple of games on the road trip, but I wonder if he's had to open his stance up a little bit as a result of that stiff neck, because he seems more open than he has been.
Well, he hit a double to left in the 6th inning on Wednesday night. And you're right, he just kind of served the ball that way, didn't try to do too much, pull it. One of those would be nice here as Bynum well off the line and left. Full count pitch again. And he walked him. Bases are loaded. Boy, Zambrano piling up the pitches here in the 1st inning. He's walked the bases full for Francoeur. And here's Larry Rothschild for an early chat.
That's the last thing you want to see when you're struggling. You try to back up fastball that didn't come back, and certainly Brian O'Nora didn't miss that one. That was well off the plate. That's 41 walks now for Zambrano in a little over 64 innings. So to go with the strikeouts, he's putting a lot of guys on base.
He walked Giles to open the game, struck out Renteria on a high fastball. Chipper just missed a 2-run homer that sent Jock Jones to the Ivy. Then successive walks to Andrew and LaRoche brings up Jeff Francoeur, and let's see if Jeff shows a little patience here. A guy struggling with his control, a guy he's faced only 3 times. This is a spot where I think he's got to take a pitch or two. But he doesn't. Nothing, 1 to count.
Well, he's a run producer, and he's not going to sit around and wait for an opportunity to produce runs. But you're right, Chip, in one sense, that if a guy's struggling, why not get the count in your favor? Make him throw it more down the middle into the corners.
Jeff could use some production on the road. Just 3 for 23 at the plate. Bases are full, 2 outs for Atlanta. One ball, 1 strike. Giles, Andrew, LaRoche, Zambrano, Francoeur.
Very good.
I can follow Gary Lehman with the best of them. 1 ball, 1 strike, time call, and it was requested by Barrett, not the batter.
Francoeur hitting .350 at home, 190 on the road.
The stretch. Ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Nice to give Tim Hudson an early crooked number with which to work here in Chicago. Don't worry too much about pitch counts with Zambrano. He's big and strong enough to throw 130 of them if he has to. Missed inside with a breaking ball. Now he's got to throw a strike.
Kind of guided that one too. He's really aiming the ball, and this is not the guy that's been pitching for the Cubs in terms of Zambrano and his success lately. He only walked 3 in 7 innings against the White Sox in his last start. Struck out 9, beat him 7-4. He's aiming it.
What's Francoeur looking for here?
Fastball.
Bases loaded, walk. How about that? Jeff Francoeur with an RBI walk. And that gives the Bluebirds an early chance to vent in Chicago. Giles scores the game's first run. It's 1-0 Atlanta.
Well, you're not surprised that Francoeur gets an RBI. You're just surprised that it comes by way of a walk. Was that his 3rd of the year?
I believe so. Yep, he walked in the 2-1 Atlanta win in Arizona. So he's all the way up to 3. Here's Langerhans. Ryan's never faced Zambrano. And he's hitting .248 on the season. So Atlanta's got a lead. The pitch. Little dribbler right side. That'll kick foul at first. And Langerhans quickly behind in the count.
And he chased a bad ball early in the count. I mean, he was tickled to death to see that ball hit the edge of the grass and kick foul. That was the type of swing you take with the bases loaded when you got 2 strikes on you.
Sure. Sandy Alomar said something I'll never forgot. Sandy now a coach with the Mets. You can watch the game or you can observe the game.
Good point.
0-1 the count. They play him around toward left. And the count evens. A ball and a strike. Make him throw you 2 strikes and then hack away. And Zambrano's velocity right at 90 miles an hour. That's not like him.
No, it's a little off.
Ball 2. And a lonely feeling it's got to be when you can't locate your fastball. You're missing with your breaking ball by inches, and they lay off the change. Generous strike there. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
First borderline pitch he's gotten. Langerhans didn't like this call. And that ball, oh, that pitch never had the plate. Goodness. Rhino and Ormus felt sorry for him.
3 balls, 2 strikes. They'll be running with 2 outs. Well, Ryan, all we can tell you is best guess, pal.
Yep. Bullpen's going to get busy. He's up around 40 pitches.
The 3-2 pitch. Good. Rip at a fastball.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Since Chipper's fly ball to right, nobody's even had a chance to really hack it any. LaRoche fouled off a couple.
You just get the sense around this ballpark. There's a feeling of impending doom. What else is going to happen if you're a Cub? 3-2 pitch again. Runners go. Struck him out with a breaking ball, and that'll do it. But a huge pitch count for Zambrano, 40 plus. 4 walks plate the game's first run, and Atlanta leads early in Chicago.
You feeling better?
I'm getting there. But I do feel good that we have Aflac.
Glad I asked about it at work.
I'm glad it's helping pay the bills.
Electric bill, house payments, even Michelle's education. Helps with just about any bills our health insurance doesn't cover.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
A deck made of veranda stands up to the most extreme conditions on Earth, so chances are it can handle your backyard. Veranda doesn't warp, rot, or splinter, so you spend time enjoying your deck, not working on it. Veranda, you'll find it only at the Home Depot. Right now, get a free $50 gift card for every $500 Veranda purchase.
Hello?
Repeat after me en español. No conexión. No conexión.
Yes.
No conexión.
No.
Hi guys, it's Maggie. Yes, I got the email.
La Quinta. It's tough out there, but here, everything's a little brighter, a little warmer. Everything's La Quinta. For reservations, visit lq.com.
The wait for the coals just got a lot shorter. Kingsford Charcoal's been improved with new Surefire grooves. It heats up faster, so the grill's never been ready sooner. Kingsford with new Surefire grooves. BBQ, PDQ.
Braves get a free run in the top of the first. We go to the bottom half and take a look at Dusty Baker's lineup today, with Juan Pierre, Nathan Perez, and Todd Walker here in the first inning. Michael Barrett batting cleanup for these guys. He was swinging the bat well. Jock Jones in right field. Aramis Ramirez trying to come back. You can see he's been a little bit hot his last 5 games. And Freddie Bynum and Ronnie Cedeno, a couple rookies. Carlos Zambrano batting 9th. Tim Hudson's on the mound for the Braves, 30 years old, 6'1", 170. Last year, again, hooked up with Carlos Zambrano back on August 22nd. Pitched a beauty in complete game, 7-hitter, and beat the Cubs 4-2. And on the road this year, 3-3, but having a great month of May.
The Cubs paid a very heavy price to get Juan Pierre from the Florida Marlins. Gave them 3 young arms. 2 of them helped beat Chicago in that 3-game sweep in Miami. Sergio Mitre, the other, is hurt. And Pierre is really struggling out of the leadoff spot, Joe. On base percentage at .269.
Yeah, that compares. People have been talking about Marcus Giles on base percentage at .332 being a little slow and a little off, but Juan Pierre at .269, that's just horribly low for him.
And a swing and a miss. He's behind 1-2. Plan A for the Cubs was Rafael Furcal. play shortstop. Then they could play Todd Walker at second base with Neifi Perez. Dodgers got for call. Plan B was Pierre. And being quite frank, he's been a disappointment for them.
Yeah, and I thought it was a good trade. I really did. I thought he would fill another need, which was center field. Corey Patterson had struggled out there a little bit. Gave them a bona fide leadoff hitter and a center fielder, but he has not played like Juan Pierre.
Just throws the barrel of the bat at that ball, and it's foul. Fortunately, that would have been at least 2 for Pierre. And the Cubs have been looking for a leadoff man here ever since Bobby Dernier played the outfield back in the mid-'80s. Braves are in Espanol. You can listen to our Braves in Spanish via the SAP button on your remote. Our announcers Pete Manzano and Fernando Palacios. 1-0 Atlanta as Pierre continues his first look at Tim Hudson this afternoon.
Todd Pratt been a workhorse back there with the injury to Brian McCann, so Todd was welcoming a day off yesterday.
And it looks like Todd's going to see a lot more action than the Braves were hoping. Bad news about Brian McCann before the game today.
He was running in the outfield, running some sprints, no problem, and then Jeff Porter, the trainer, had him run some figure eights, and I think Brian re-aggravated that ankle a bit, and it's going to force them to make a move tomorrow. Probably when Horacio Ramirez comes back from the DL, McCann will go on.
Little looper toward third. Easy play, Chipper Jones, and he makes it. Pierre is retired, and he hears it in Chicago. 1 man down in the first for Neifi Perez. And remember, McCann had a pinch hit appearance on this road trip, and that's going to cost Atlanta a couple of extra days. In fact, McCann pinch hit May 23rd for Atlanta after injuring himself in Arizona, so it'll be an extra 2 or 3 days for Brian if he is indeed disabled tomorrow. Here's Perez hitting a .195, and he shoots the first he sees to center, but Andrews should catch that.
These are days tailor-made for Andrew Jones. With the wind blowing in, there is no problem at all for him to run under anything hitting the air in this ballpark today. Here's his teammates in the outfield on each side of him: Langerhans and Francoeur, Chipper, Renteria, Giles, and LaRoche on the infield, and Todd Pratt, as we mentioned, doing the catching.
Todd Walker played a pretty serviceable first base for Chicago, a .291 hitter, but not nearly the run producer that Derek Lee is. And again, his everyday position with the Cubs has been second base. Derek Lee out a month already, expected to be out another 4 weeks or so for Chicago. A fractured wrist. And I know Cubs fans, and really all baseball, Derek, one of the great guys in the game, he really is, hoping that he comes back as soon as he possibly can, but I can't imagine how tough a wrist injury is to come back from.
Not easy, not in this game.
And you know everybody's going to be throwing the ball in on his hands to find out how healthy he is when indeed he does come back for Chicago.
Well, you saw those numbers there, but he's not the only reason they've really been struggling, but they had a pretty decent record while he was playing.
Back up the middle, Renteria, funny hop, stayed with it. And Hudson has a 1-2-3, bottom half of the first, and a 1-0 lead at Wrigley.
Introducing the new John Deere Select Series featuring 4-wheel steer. Maneuverability has reached the turning point. See our entire new line at johndeere.com.
The Braun Activator's Smart Foil captures hair growing in any direction for a closer shave. And its cleaning center keeps it feeling like new every day. The Braun Activator, the world's best self-cleaning shaver, guaranteed.
Welcome to the new Mushroom Kingdom. New Super Mario Brothers. This only happens on Nintendo DS. Rated everyone.
You've got a lot of stuff to paint, but not a lot of time. The new Wagner Power Painter with innovative lock-and-go cartridges lets you go from staining to painting in a snap. Wagner, paint fast, paint smart.
You know, there are still some people who don't know that the cost of their diabetes testing supplies may be covered by Medicare. Well, if you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, your testing supplies may be covered. Your monitors, your test strips, your Lancets, whether you use insulin or not. So to find out if you qualify, call Liberty Medical. Here's how it works. Liberty is a Medicare participating provider. They bill Medicare and your insurance company. You pay nothing up front. Your testing supplies are delivered right to your door and no charge for shipping. You have nothing to worry about because when it's time to reorder, Liberty will remind you. Call Liberty Medical. They can help you live a better life.
To find out if you qualify for home delivery of diabetes testing supplies, call Liberty at 1-800-398-4032. That's 1-800-398-4032.
Fans, let's take a look at our John Deere leaderboard. And today's subject, National League strikeout leaders with the 2 strikeouts in the first inning. Carlos Zambrano added to his league-leading number at 73. Pedro Martinez, Harang, Peavy, and Capuano follow closely behind. That's your John Deere leaderboard.
And a former Cub, Todd Pratt. Yes, he played for the Cubs very briefly back in 1995. Appeared in 25 games for them. And he shoots that ball into shallow right. Jock Jones comes in. And Zambrano retires his first leadoff man in today's game. Now Tim Hudson faces the Cubs right-hander. Talking with Todd about his time in Chicago, he says he's really learned to appreciate playing here a lot more as an older player now, and he said he kind of took the game for granted a little bit as a youngster here in Chicago.
Well, when you're younger, you don't have quite the appreciation for what's happened here and what's going on. There are things outside the ballpark that interest you maybe a little more.
Oh, sure. But this, despite the Cubs' woeful on-field performances. I mean, they're closing in on 100 years between championships. But this is still a field that has hosted World Series. Tinker to Evers to Chance infield as Hudson's going to be an easy out. 1 unassisted. The homer in the Gloman, Gabby Hartnett, Babe Ruth's called shot. I mean, it's a great baseball museum.
Yeah, I picked him to win it all this year. How could you not? After the Red Sox and White Sox the last 2 years, wasn't it the Cubs' turn?
Yeah. You know, that guy in the green shirt and headphones, some say got in the way, but that's not the case. And those numbers that are up on the rooftop across the way, AC after championship 026097. Like your car's odometer, they just keep rolling, rolling, rolling. 2 years since the Cubs last won the division, 60 years since they won the pennant, and 97 since they won the World Series. A 3-up, 3-down inning for Zambrano as Giles lines to right. And that'll do it for Atlanta, leading 1-0.
People everywhere are discovering Rembrandt whitening strips. The strip with form-fit technology that whitens faster in just 5 days. Faster, easy whitening. Rembrandt whitening strips, a whole new world of white.
Sir, I want to give your ciabatta major buzz. Rubber wristband, never been done before. Or Washington? He's dead. I'm thinking ciabatta junior high. I got more. Sheila! This woman is willing to name her firstborn baby ciabatta.
How about I just keep making great ciabatta sandwiches? Like the ciabatta breakfast sandwich, bacon and cheese ciabatta burger, and bruschetta chicken ciabatta.
You gonna be home for dinner?
Yes.
A John Deere 100 series can be yours starting at $13.99. Welcome to the John Deere neighborhood. Now available in more stores than ever. See the full line at johndeere.com.
Wireless data network for your small business, $0. The latest color printers for your small business, $0. 5 Trio smartphones for your small business, $0. Feeling like you can take on the world? Priceless. Use your MasterCard business card for a chance to win a technology upgrade put together by an IT expert.
Being a switch hitter, that's a rare commodity in this day and age.
Growing up, I was a big Dodger fan. I would go out and imitate the lineup. Kenny Landreau came up, I had his left-handed. When Steve Garvey came up, I hit right-handed. And that's where I learned. I take great pride that the other team doesn't want to see me to the plate. They know that I'm going to be a tough out. I live for this.
Catch Major League Baseball all season long on TBS. Don't miss it.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
Here comes the Thomas Hearns of the National League. Michael Barrett leads things off.
The hit man.
Hitting .291 with 6 homers and 21 driven in. I got to give Michael credit. He was very remorseful after that incident with the White Sox. He said, look, I don't know what happened. I just didn't know where I was after the collision. I hit him. I shouldn't have done it. But a 10-game suspension handed down by baseball today.
Where was Brzezinski going after the collision?
He said he was going after his helmet. That's what he said.
Well, how did Michael Barrett supposed to know that? You know, I thought that was part of the incident, was that there was a second bump.
A ball and a strike to Barrett.
Michael didn't know what Brzezinski's intentions were when he kind of bumped back into him, so he wasn't going to wait around to let him fire the first shot.
Well, you mentioned Brzezinski's reputation. Barrett's kind of got the same situation here in Chicago. It's 3 times now that Barrett's been involved in some sort of a fracas. He got involved a couple years ago with Houston. A verbal war of words with Roy Oswalt. Here's the pitch. Oswalt plunked him in a game down in Houston. Barrett said he's coming back and we're going to take care of him. And Oswalt and the Astros took 3 out of 4 from the Cubs right after they'd gotten Beltran. Blew past the Cubs, won the wild card. Ground ball to short. Renteria gobbles that up. Barrett hustling is retired. 4 straight retired by Tim. And I'm not suggesting that he's a hothead, but at times he does lose his temper.
I'll say this, maybe they need a few more like him.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, good point.
They're 18 and 28. Maybe they need a little more fire. Fans, it's time for the know-how question of the game built by the Home Depot. And if you've got a question for us today, send us an email, and if chosen, we'll answer it later in the game. Send your email to tbsmailbag@atlantabraves.com. Please tell us your name and also where you're from.
Jock Jones, the former Twin, is the man playing right field for Chicago now. Cubs signed him right before Christmas in 2005. Jones, a lifetime .279 hitter. Well, a guy that can hit 20 home runs for you. Defensively, he's had some problems this year for Chicago, and the Boo Birds jumped on him early in the season. But he has been maybe their hottest hitter, hitting almost .330 in the last 3 weeks. Left-handed bat. And Chipper Jones, a jam shot. Jock Jones is out number 2. Good to see Hudson getting the ball on the ground on a day like today, and frankly anytime you pitch in Wrigley, that thick infield grass.
Great place to play baseball, though. My goodness, even on a bad day. Wrigley Field and the history like you were talking about earlier, but on a day like this, it just doesn't get much better anywhere in America to play a baseball game.
And Ron Santo, the legendary Cub, is going to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" today.
Well, that kind of ruined the day right there.
Well, I tortured Ron for 7 years. I decided I'm going to take it easy on him in this series with his Cubbies struggling so badly. As Ramirez looks at a ball. I don't know why it's not happened already, but I think it's an absolute travesty that Ron Santo's not in the Hall of Fame. I've said it. While he and I have had the best of times and not so good times. Ramirez is going to rocket that ball off the ivy, and he should have a double. Langerhans hustles the ball in. Ramirez aboard safely. 9 doubles for him.
We showed you in the lineups that Ramirez is beginning to come around. He got off to a horrible start. He's now 8 for his last 22 with 3 homers and this ringing double that just missed the basket right in front of the seats and left. But it stayed in the ballpark, and Hudson still has the lead.
And for those of you not familiar with the ground rules at Wrigley, it's very simple. If a ball goes in the ivy, outfielder has to throw his hands up. If you, however, go in there and start doing gardening, ball's alive. And there have been some young outfielders in the history of this game that have gone in there and ripped out whole sections of the ivy trying to find the baseball with no luck at all. Here's Freddie Bynum, mostly off the bench for the Cubs this year, hitting .216. And he takes a strike. In fact, old Cub Jose Cardenal, remember him?
Yes.
He used to hide a baseball in the ivy for situations just like that. He had one in a secret spot out there. If he couldn't find the ball, he'd just run over and pluck one out there and hustle it back into the infield. Tying run at second as Hudson evens the count.
Cubs got Bynum from Oakland right at the end of spring training.
How many second basemen do they have on this team?
14.
Back to Hudson. He speared it and saved a run. 1-0 Atlanta as we head to our third inning at the corner of Clark and Addison.
This is Ortho season-long grass and weed killer. It works like this. With one easy spray, it kills existing weeds and forms a protective barrier to prevent new ones. All season long. Ordinary weed killers don't prevent weeds. So staying weed-free all season means spraying month after month after month, using up to 5 times as much weed killer. Ortho season long. All weeds, all gone, all season, guaranteed.
When something is real, it shows.
Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Ain't nothing like
Introducing new Just for Men. Its new True Color formula targets only gray, replaces it with subtle tones for a natural look that is real. Real to the eye, real to the touch, real where it counts. New True Color Just for Men.
My business spends thousands of dollars on materials,
on supplies,
on equipment.
So when I heard about a credit card that gives you up to 5% cash back,
I didn't need a second opinion.
With the Platinum Business Cash Rebate Card from American Express, you can get up to 5% cash back automatically with no limit on how much you can earn. Call 1-800-NOW-OPEN to apply.
Cash back on EKG machines.
Cash back on drywall.
on engines,
On computers.
Even pizza.
There's no annual fee and no interest for 6 months. Plus, you'll get the service you deserve from Open, the small business team at American Express.
$640 back. Nice.
The Platinum Business Cash Rebate Card from American Express. Call now for a 60-second decision and start getting up to 5% cash back.
Cash back that goes right back into my pocket.
Fans follow the 67th Senior PGA Championships this weekend online. Catch all the highlights and live scoring only at PGA.com. Tournament being played in Edmond, Oklahoma at the Oak Tree Country Club.
You ever play that track?
I have.
And?
Tough. Tough. Got a lot of oak trees.
That's not good to know.
No, it's a great track.
Here's Edgar. And he's down a strike. Zambrano, a real shaky first inning, then whipped right through the order in the second. Now he goes to work in the third, trailing on a bases-loaded walk. And another strike. A lot of changes to the ballpark here in Chicago the last couple years. Every team in the division, the Central that is, with a new stadium with the exception of the Cubs. They added a whole bunch of new seats right behind home plate from dugout to dugout, and the new bleachers as well have opened to rave reviews this season. Added about 2,000 seats overall here. Little knothole area in right field where they used to take the batting cage after batting practice. Fans walking by Sheffield Avenue can get a peek inside Wrigley Field.
Yeah, it looks nice. Zambrano's telegraphing that off-speed breaking pitch he's throwing. He's really slowing down his delivery as he lets it go. Hitters will pick up on that right away.
Sidearm and into shallow center. Pierre, glasses gleaming, makes the catch. One man down in the top of our third inning. Here's Chipper. Almost one-handed a ball 370 feet to right for a 2-run shot. Instead he flied out. Spring is sprung in the Windy City. The fans here in droves again. The Cubs have sold almost every ticket available this season. To short, Cedeno, good young player. It's Chipper, 2 out. Braves very quick to swing against Zambrano, whose pitches were very piled up in the opening frame.
Yeah, they actually he didn't have to throw that many pitches to the first 3 hitters, even though he walked Giles, but it was after that he really began to struggle and couldn't get ahead in the count. But everybody's gone up there very aggressive the last 2 innings.
Well, he's got a no-hitter, but he's losing the game. Here's Andrew, and that's happened before. And a letter high strike. This guy Zambrano, before it's all said and done, just might be better than Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor. If there was ever a tailor-made pitcher born and with the stuff to pitch in this park, that's the guy.
Well, he just threw that fastball right by Andrew. Again, he's won his last 3 decisions.
And I did some checking back when the Braves acquired Juan Cruz from the Cubs. From Chicago's standpoint, it was a flip of the coin as to whether it should be Cruz or Zambrano going to Atlanta.
Wow.
0-2. Struck him out with a slider, and Zambrano's retired 7 in a row. He's trailing in the game 1-0 despite not allowing an Atlanta hit.
A John Deere 100 series can be yours starting at $13.99. Welcome to the John Deere neighborhood. Now available in more stores than ever. See the full line at johndeere.com.
So, what kind of financial help are you looking for? Maybe you need insurance to help protect you. Benefits to help your business reach new heights. Or a retirement plan to invest for the future. Then again, maybe there's someone who can help with all of those things. The Principal Financial Group will give you an edge.
Wood finishing projects can feel too big to tackle, but Minwax always makes it easy with rich wood stains and clear protective finishes. It's that simple. Minwax makes and keeps wood beautiful.
The limeade at Sonic is so unique. It's kind of like the corn dog of beverages. Just because it's unique. It's like the Coney of fountain drinks. What does Conies and corn dogs have anything to do with limeade? I'm explaining an analogy to you. Do you know what that is, an analogy?
Yeah,
okay.
It's before digital.
Wait.
Your ultimate drink stop. Only at Sonic can you get our classic limeades in regular, cherry, or strawberry. So grab one tonight because Sonic is now open late all summer.
When you live an active life, athlete's foot can break your rhythm. That's why there's Lamisil AT. Advanced treatment. So powerful, it treats athlete's foot 4 times faster than other leading products. You get results on the bottom that work their way to the top. Lamisil AT. Go on with the rhythm of life.
Play hundreds of the greatest video games at GameTap. Get your free trial at GameTap.com.
Young Ronnie Cedeno leads it off for the Cubs. 1-0 Atlanta. Cedeno, a non-drafted free agent by Chicago back in 1999. Good-looking kid, 6 feet tall, 180 pounds, out of Venezuela. And as the Cubs take the field today, other than Zambrano, he's the only regular in their farm system.
No kidding.
Everybody else is from somebody else's organization. Easy play at first, and that's the other real problem Chicago's had. Done a couple things. One, they'll never approach the luxury tax here and try to buy a championship. That's just not the corporate philosophy here, and that's fine. But two, they've never taken it all the way down and gone with a young club. They've got a huge superstation. They've got huge radio networks and things of that nature. And there are some who feel that's part of the process. The other part of it is Cubs haven't had many kids come up in their farm system who've gone on to star in the big leagues.
Well, at the time the Braves got it turned around, they had a huge superstation and a far-flung radio network.
But they were willing to
they're
wait.
willing to develop. John Schuerholz in his first year went out and got a couple of guys to shore up the team defensively and pitching-wise. And you don't have to add superstars. You just have to add guys that want to play and know how to play.
Jim Hendry's the general manager of the Cubs. And he was the guy that was the farm director who oversaw the resurgence of the Cubs farm system. But the history of the Cubs is who got away. Dontrell Willis, former Cub. Nolasco, Mitre. The kids down in Florida. 0-2 to Zambrano, who's down swinging. Todd Pratt may have taken a little tick there as Tim Hudson has his first strikeout in the game. And back to the top we go, and Juan Pierre, who popped out to Chipper.
Somehow, someway, the Florida Marlins have figured out who the best pitching talent is in the Cubs organization before the Cubs have figured it out.
That's not a good sign.
And they've just raked them over the coals. That Nolasco's a great looking young arm.
And Mitre, guy that can start, got hurt. But the curse of the Billy Goat lives on apparently in 2006. And the Braves trying to make him pay again today. Pierre back up the middle, right over the top of the second base bag. So he's on. He's a threat to steal. He's 14 out of 17 in stolen bases. This is the way the Cubs want to play. Get him on and find a way to get him in. Neifi Perez flying out to center his first time up. 2 hits in his last 12 at bats for Chicago. He was twitching, and Hudson, if he had that pickoff throw at the bag, might have gotten him.
He was leaning.
Pratt has thrown out one of 13 would-be base stealers this year. Again to first. All the other action in the National League is tonight. Phillies host Milwaukee. And the Mets are in Florida. Jason Johnson and Pedro Martinez is 5-0 for the Mets today. One ball, no strikes. Atlanta 4.5 games back, just a half game behind the Phillies for second. Washington 4th, Florida last in the East. And Atlanta with a win today would get back over 500 on this road trip. They're 3-3. That bother you as a base runner? Throw after throw after throw?
No, and I think there are people who subscribe to the thought that maybe it wears a guy out over there a little bit, trying to dive back, get up, but
No.
I don't think so. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. It might cause you to shorten your lead up just a little bit, but I don't think it affected Juan Pierre.
Again, he's leaning. Didn't get a good read. And a line drive to first will retire the side. Hudson gives up his second hit, but nothing else. And the Braves lead 1-0, 1/3 of the way through.
Don't forget about us, TV.
With Glidden Team Colors paint, you can get the official colors of your favorite team.
Sir, you're all set.
Whoever that may be. Exclusively from Glidden and only at the Home Depot.
For that extra room you've always wanted, a Wachovia mortgage specialist can show you financing options to help you get more house for your money. Are you with Wachovia? Talk to your local Wachovia mortgage specialist or call or go online.
At DuPont, we've tested and tested to find the best way to protect your car's finish inside and out. The result? DuPont Car Care products, the only ones with Teflon to form a non-stick protective barrier, so dirt and mud have a hard time sticking. Now visit us online for great deals on DuPont Car Care products.
Bigger isn't always better. Dish Network packages start at just $19.99 a month, so whether you want a little or a lot, you can pick the one that's right for you. Pick your package, pick your price. Dish Network, better TV for all.
1-0 Atlanta as we move on to our fourth inning, and here's today's trivia question. Since 1973, what's the longest stretch of consecutive seasons over 500 for the Cubs? I'll give you a clue. Ouch. Here's Joe.
Yeah, I'll bet that number is not a pretty one. LaRoche walked his first time up. Braves received 4 free passes in the first inning for their free run. And 5 for 15 on the road trip. Supposed to be warm tomorrow and flat out hot on Sunday here. 2-1 the count. Horacio Ramirez expected to come back from the disabled list tomorrow and pitch against Sean Marshall, 2 lefties. 2-2. And then John Smoltz will go Sunday with an extra day's rest. The Cubs have not made it official who their starting pitcher will be. Off his foot, still 2-2. Braves lost a dear friend last week. Hoyt Johnson back in Atlanta, who's one of the biggest Braves fans since they moved to Atlanta. Our sympathies and condolences to the family. Hoyt never missed a game. Off the thumbs. Looks like it'll stand play for Ramirez if he can see it. And he can. 8 in a row set down by Zambrano. And to be honest with you, nothing hit hard. The only ball that's been hit decent was the deep fly by Chipper, and that was kind of a one-handed swing. Out to deep right center. Francoeur drew the base on balls that forced in the run in the first inning. Just his 3rd walk of the year. One and one. One and two. Despite some troubles offensively on this road trip, Atlanta 5th in the league in batting average coming into play today and 4th in the league in runs scored. But 14th in strikeouts. Wow, he pulled that right out of the glove of Michael Barrett and got a piece of him with it. They were teammates in the World Baseball Classic.
Little professional courtesy by the home plate umpire too, to let Barrett collect himself.
It looked like got him on the shoulder. The 1-2 outside. Jeff's 0 for his last 7 on this road trip and just 3 for 23 on the trip. Overall, it started in Arizona. Got him. Strikeout number 4 for Zambrano.
Told you earlier, if you don't get this guy early, you might not get him at all. And don't worry about pitch counts early in the game. He's big enough, strong enough to throw 140 if he has to. And right now, the way the Cubs are swinging the bat, he may have to if they're going to win this game today.
Well, remember we were talking about how he was aiming the ball in the first inning. He's not doing that now. He's letting it go. Langerhans struck out to end the first. Sends that one deep but foul. Ryan's average has taken a hit on this road trip. Just 3 for 18, now 3 for 19 on the trip. Fair ball handled by Walker. And another 1-2-3 inning for Zambrano. 10 in a row set down by the big right-hander. 1-0 Atlanta.
You've got a lot of stuff to paint, but not a lot of time. The new Wagner Power Painter with innovative lock-and-go technology lets you go from staining projects to paint jobs in a snap. The paint cartridges lock in and out fast, so you'll even have time to tackle the really big jobs. Get the new lock-and-go Wagner Power Painter, and you've got it all covered. Wagner, paint fast, paint smart.
Introducing Aqua Velva Ice Balm Aftershave. Alcohol-free, vitamin-infused, it firms and tones skin. New Aqua Velva Ice Balm with a fresh, clean scent. Skincare from A to V.
Introducing the new John Deere Select Series featuring 4-wheel steer. Maneuverability has reached the turning point. See our entire new line at johndeere.com.
I'm a gum chewer. I'm a mint popper.
I'm a rinser. I can't afford to have bad breath.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Dorfman, the dentist from Extreme Makeover. I know a lot of people worry about taking care of bad breath.
I've tried all sorts of cover-ups, but none of them work.
That's why I recommend BreathoRx, not only to my patients, but to everybody I know.
It's just 3 easy steps. Brush, scrape, rinse. With BreathoRx, your breath has never felt so fresh.
Only BreathoRx has dual-action Zytex, which attacks the cause of bad breath and is clinically proven to keep working for hours.
Non-prescription BreathoRx was only sold in dentists' offices. Now, get BreathoRx at these fine stores.
It's my complete fresh breath system.
It's dentist recommended.
Get real fresh breath with BreathoRx.
At last, no more cover-ups.
Give science a try. Ask your dental hygienist or get BreathoRx now at these fine stores.
Back in Chicago, Braves still looking for their first hit, but leading the game by 1. Our Aflac trivia question: since 1973, what's the longest stretch of consecutive years over 500 for the Battlin' Cubbies? Dusty Baker's first 2 years, the only period during that stretch. And it's even more amazing for Chicago.
That is amazing. Todd Walker, the batter, he grounded out his first time. Cubs have 2 hits, Braves none, but Atlanta leads 1-0.
Even more impressively, how many years since 1940 have the Cubs been at 500 or higher? Would you guess?
I'd guess half of them. I mean, I'll go 1 over the middle. I'll go
19 in 65
19.
years. As our old friend Dave Meows would say, good or bad?
That's not good, and a lot of franchises wouldn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
Were it not for the great fan support. Backup fastball in there for a strike. Walker didn't like that. It's 2-2. They're coming in there again. And he fights it off, and he's going to get a base hit as a result. He wasn't going to give up on that one, and Walker leads off the fourth with a base hit.
Yeah, Todd's a good hitter. He can recognize a pitcher's pattern, and he's still strong enough to muscle a pitch in on his hands. Tim put it right where Pratt wanted it, but lefties like it down and inside, and he golfed it over Marcus's head.
You know, if you're going to make that pitch, though, Chip, you can't throw it down there, and that's not where they want it. You got to elevate that and get it up about belt high where they can't get the barrel of the bat on it. Barrett grounded out his first time. He's dropping a bunt down, but it's foul. Cleanup hitter dropping a bunt down. Cubs have hit into 49 double plays. Braves have hit into 40. Barrett has 6 of those. Walker 0 for 1 in stolen bases, not really a threat to go. 1-1.
One of the reasons Barrett might have been bunting is without Derek Lee, the Cubs really having big-time power problems. Last in the National League in home runs. That's shocking. You don't ever expect a Cub team to do that.
No.
So they've got to try to find a way to scratch and claw and manufacture a run or two.
Runner goes, hit and run play. Giles will try to get back to his position, does, and pulls LaRoche off the bag. Excellent play by Giles, but his momentum was carrying him to the line, and he couldn't straighten up enough to make a good throw. First and second, nobody out.
He had so much ground to cover, he rushed his throw because that extra turf he had to cover allowed Barrett to move down the line. For a catcher, Michael runs pretty well. And an infield hit has 2 on, nobody out for Chicago, a scenario they haven't seen too frequently the last couple weeks.
And the thing that's killing them offensively is their inability to hit with runners in scoring position. Another area where they're at the bottom of the heap in the National League. Jock Jones grounded to third his first time. He laces one though to right. Francoeur can't make the play. And we've got 2 runners between second and third. Walker's going to be waved home, and the Braves didn't realize he had gotten a late start. He'll score, and it's tied. Walker went back to tag up, and as a result, Barrett almost ran up his back. It's a double for Jones and his 20th RBI.
And we told you Jones, one of the hottest hitters for the Cubs, hitting .330 the last 3 weeks. No question about this ball. He crushed it off the ivy in right center. Again, a pitch down. That's where he likes the baseball. No chance for Francoeur. And look at the relay between Walker and Barrett. Barrett chugging around third. Jeff Francoeur with a high relay throw. Even if it was on target, they wouldn't have gotten Walker. Trouble brewing here for the Braves.
And nobody out. Ramirez doubled off the ivy to left his first time up. Hudson gets ahead in the count. Tim did not allow a run in his last start at Arizona on the 21st. Beat them 2-1. 8 innings, 6 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Off the plate, that'll get a go-ahead run in. Chipper with a good play. 1 out. Ramirez with his 24th RBI. And Jones is at third.
Hit it right off the plate. And the Cubs give him credit, making contact when contact's called for here. Dusty Baker breaks out a hit and run. That kept him out of a double play. Jones rifled the ball to right center field. Ramirez doesn't strike out, just puts it in play to score the go-ahead run.
And a good throw from Giles. would have eliminated the runner scoring, Michael Barrett, that just came across the plate. Instead, runner at third, one out. Infield in. Bynum a swing and a miss. He was robbed of a hit by Tim Hudson his first time up. Carlos Zambrano now with the lead. Good pitch, 0-2.
Wonder if any of the Braves fans in attendance there can scream out at Zambrano that he's got a no-hitter today.
It could happen. You don't know how that might affect his head. Carlos is into this. He's right up on the edge of the dugout bench. 1-2.
Now you said it best. He's an intense young man. When he has his emotions under control and when he keeps his cool, he's one of the game's elite starters. But when things don't go well for him and he loses his composure, he melts down on that mound.
Got him with a good fastball on the inside corner. Big strikeout for Hudson. His second of the day, and Cedeno the batter.
A paint job for Hudson. Look at Pratt's glove. Bang. No chance for Bynum to pull the trigger.
Cedeno bounced to LaRoche his first time up. They're going to put him on and pitch to Zambrano. First walk today for Hudson. Among active pitchers, Zambrano has more wins before the age of 25 than anybody else. I believe it's in the major leagues. I know it's in the National League. But he has 51 career victories, and he'll turn 25 in a week. Struck out his first time up today. He's 1 for 19 on the year, but he does swing hard in case he hits it.
And he switch hits, which is somewhat odd. A right-handed pitcher batting left-handed, exposing that pitching elbow. That's why he wears the protective pad on his right arm.
Little breather here for Hudson as Renteria and Pratt go out to talk to him. 2-1 Cubs. They've lost 3 in a row and 18 of their last 23.
This guy's not an easy out. He's hit 4 major league home runs.
Puts this one in play, but Giles has it, and the inning is over, but not before the Cubs get their first 3 guys on base and plate 2 of them, and they take the lead.
Think you know all there is to know about getting your cholesterol right? You may be wrong, because getting bad cholesterol down might be just part of the equation. You may also want to get your good cholesterol up. Even more surprising, this cholesterol medicine does both. Crestor. Crestor, along with diet, can lower bad cholesterol by up to 52%. But Crestor also raises your good cholesterol. Down with the bad, up with the good. Is Crestor right for you? That's between you and your doctor. Crestor is not for everyone, including people with liver disease and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor about other medications you're taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as they may be a sign of serious side effects. Down with the bad, up with the good. Talk to your doctor about Crestor.
If you're without prescription coverage and can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
The wait for the coals just got a lot shorter. New Kingsford Charcoal with surefire grooves heats faster and is ready sooner. Kingsford, BBQ, PDQ.
Are you ready to step up to the plate and really dig in? Are you ready for the heat and the hanging curves, the bleeders and the bombs to the upper decks? Ready for shutouts and squeeze plays? For big stops and even bigger saves? Are you ready to get dirty and break up plays? Ready to go yard or go home? Are you ready for the most realistic MLB experience ever? MLB 06, the show. Rated E for everyone.
Introducing the new John Deere Select Series featuring 4-wheel steer. Maneuverability has reached the turning point. See our entire new line at johndeere.com.
Braves TBS Baseball, brought to you by Armor All. Go ahead, stare. And by Crestor. Visit Crestor.com and ask your doctor if Crestor is right for you.
Braves trail 2-1 as we go to the 5th. Bottom part of the order, Pratt, Hudson, and then the leadoff man Giles against Zambrano, who has set down 10 in a row. Pratt flied to right his first time. 3 for 17 on the road trip. And Zambrano, if we thought he was getting in a groove in the last couple of innings trailing, now he's got the lead and feeling pretty good. Struck him out. Strikeout number 5.
Joe Boys and Girls Clubs of America is the official charity of Major League Baseball. Together they create a positive place for kids. I see a lot of the kids out this weekend here in Chicago. Sellout crowds all weekend long, and the weather is supposed to be just delightful like today, and Sunday near 90 and the wind blowing out.
That'll be fun. Smoltz wouldn't say that, but I will.
Yeah.
Tim Hudson grounded back to the pitcher, a 1 unassisted. And Zambrano rocking and firing here, ahead 0-2.
I think John's looking forward to hitting as much as pitching here on a windy day.
We'll see. The 0-2 stays alive. Speaking of kids, though, how about Ben Budka of the Mountain Park White Sox, 11 and 12-year-old champs?
Wow.
Had to withstand some rain delays and power outages, but the Mountain Park White Sox out in Lilburn got it done.
Nice job.
Ben, the son of Jim Budka, our audio guru, and I know Jim was sorry he had to miss that celebration. Strikeout number 6. 12 in a row. Braves still looking for their first hit. Back to the top of the order, and Giles, who walked and scored in the first, he's also lined to right. Giles 4 for 22 on the road trip.
I'm sorry, Joe. It bears repeating. It's been a real uneven road trip in performance for the Braves, especially offensively. Braves had a stretch before entering the game against San Diego where they had 6 runs, 17 hits in 4 games. They broke out with 10 runs, 13 hits on Wednesday. And right now, on the short end of a 1-run game, the only run that Zambrano's allowed is one he gave Atlanta with a bases-loaded walk.
Well, you didn't expect him to have a no-hitter at this point, certainly, but you didn't expect a whole lot of offense today. We talked about that at the outset, that runs were going to be at a premium today. He gave them one in the first inning. Now they got to try to earn a couple to get back on top. Because I don't foresee him giving them anything at this point. Again, 2-2 to Giles. .6'5", 255 out of Venezuela. Off the foot, missed the shin guard, still 2-2. .46 hits for the Braves on this road trip to this point, 63 strikeouts. But again, they're 3-3 and trail today by a run. Reached back for a little extra, got it by him, struck out the side. He has fanned 7, and he's retired 13 in a row as we go to the bottom of the 5th.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
A John Deere 100 series can be yours starting at $13.99. Welcome to the John Deere neighborhood. Now available in more stores than ever. See the full line at johndeere.com.
.5 million vehicle listings on Cars.com. You can find the right car for you. That's it. And the seller who has it.
My SUV. Yeah, I posted it yesterday.
Find the right car for you. Cars.com.
Repeat after me en español. Gratis. Gratis. Gratis.
Honey, don't you want to stay here?
La Quinta. It's tough out there, but here, everything's a little brighter, a little warmer. Everything's La Quinta. For reservations, visit lq.com.
The ultimate showdown for supremacy in the West continues. MVP Steve Nash and the Suns take on Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavericks. The road to the championship goes through the Western Conference Finals. Coverage continues tonight, only on TNT.
Top of the order, Juan Pierre leads it off, takes a strike. He's 1 for 2 today.
You gonna watch the hoops tonight, 8 Eastern? Our coverage begins.
Uh-huh.
How about the Suns, man, stealing home court?
Got a good team, man. I could watch Nash play all day long, and I think he could play all day long. To Giles, who had him played perfectly. Not expecting him to pull the ball, and he makes the play.
I think the defensive coaches in that series might need some counseling by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Guys were running up and down the floor in that series. Great start for the Suns. Great ball game. And our friends at TNT will have Game 2 at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Then they'll head back to Phoenix.
Boris Diaw had a pretty good game, too, didn't he?
Yeah, Jack Kennedy, our friend in Atlanta, monitoring his box score. Very excited for Boris in that series.
Nefi Perez 0 for 2 today. 2-1 Cubs. Parlayed 3 straight hits in the 4th inning into a couple of runs to take the lead, and Carlos Zambrano has a no-hitter, and he's struck out 7 through 5 innings. Renteria fighting the sun, makes the catch. 2 out. Todd Walker got that rally started in the 4th with a single. Hudson 3-1 this month with a 2.29 ERA. And he's given up 9 earned runs, or had given up 9 coming into this start this month, but 6 had come in 1 start against the Mets, so he had really been dazzling.
But as you know, sometimes it's not how well you pitch, but when you pitch. And he's run up against Zambrano, who's had a perfect month so far, and today no different.
Well hit to center. Walker's got a 2-hit day. Well, the game they matched up in August last year was very similar to this. They were tied 2-2 going late into the ball game. Hudson goes on to pitch a complete game. Zambrano came out after the 8th inning, and the Cubs brought in Kerry Wood, who was closing for them at that point, and the Braves mustered a couple of runs in the 9th off Kerry Wood to hang the loss on him. Michael Barrett had an infield hit his last time up on a hit-and-run play.
How long can he appeal his suspension? I mean, when does that get heard? Is that immediate now? I mean, with the weekend, obviously, it probably won't happen, but usually the teams would wait until they came to New York, which was a big advantage for the Mets and Yankees.
Just short. Renteria on the run, gets it out just in time to get it to first to get Barrett. The inning is over. A hit, one left. We've played 5, 2-1 Chicago.
In the West Finals, the stakes are high and every game is huge. The Suns stole Game 1 in Dallas. Can Dirk and the Mavs recover and even the score? Suns Mavericks Game 2 tonight at 8. The drama of the Western Conference Finals. Only on TNT.
The Braun Activator's smart foil captures hair growing in any direction for a closer shave. And its cleaning center keeps it feeling like new every day. The Braun Activator, the world's best self-cleaning shaver, guaranteed.
A John Deere 100 series can be yours starting at $13.99. Welcome to the John Deere neighborhood. Now available in more stores than ever. See the full line at johndeere.com.
Ever been told that broadband is out of reach just because of where you live? Don't believe it. Say hello to high-speed internet by satellite. HughesNet, the #1 choice for satellite internet service in the country. And you can get it right now. So dump your slow dial-up and jump into the high-speed action you've been craving. Faster surfing, faster downloads, instant email access? HughesNet delivers. And it doesn't use a phone line, so missed calls and dialing in are a thing of the past. All you need is a clear view of the southern sky. HughesNet is brought to you by Hughes, the leading provider of satellite communications worldwide. How cool is that? So what are you waiting for? You're done with waiting. Call 1-800-488-2828 now or visit gethughesnet.com and live the high-speed life in no time. HughesNet, bringing broadband to everyone. Call now. You're welcome.
Here's a look at our Kingsford game summary from Wrigley Field in Chicago. Tim Hudson has given up just 2 runs in the ball game, 6 Chicago hits. Atlanta got a bases-loaded first inning walk to account for their only run. Zambrano, a no-hitter. He's retired 13 in a row, has a 1-run lead, but now Joe has to go through the middle of the Atlanta order.
The Braves just looking for some base runners. The only ones they've received today came by way of walks. Renteria, a strikeout and a flyout 0 for 2. And let's take a look at Edgar's scorecard, brought to you by Napa. That strikeout 1 of 7 for Zambrano. Right back at him, sticks his glove down there, and the ball found it. 14 in a row. Chipper came the closest to a hit today, and he came within a few inches of hitting a home run in the first inning. Back Jock Jones up on the warning track in right field. Coming off a 4-hit day on Wednesday. 1-0.
Zambrano's come close in a no-hitter, threw a 2-hitter in May of 2004 against the Rockies. He took a no-hit bid into the 9th inning in Arizona a couple years back with Chicago. So this is not at all uncharted territory for him. In fact, it was August 22, 2003.
His career strikeout high is 12. 2-2 to Chipper.
So this guy, when it's all together,
it's all
state of the art.
It's all about his makeup. I mean, if he's going good like he is right now, he's as tough as anybody. The first inning, he might have been able to make a trade right in the middle of the inning because he's so unpredictable about how he's going to beat himself up. And he's gone 3-1 on Chipper.
What I'd like to see is him get in the stretch again after being winding up for so long. Get him out of sync a bit.
Chipper was taking full count. That was a good pitch, a 3-1 pitch on the corner. Andrew on deck. Chipper now 4 for 16 against Zambrano in his career, but does have a long one. Missed. And that snaps a string of 14 in a row, set down by the big right-hander. And it's his 5th walk today. Andrew has one of the walks. He's also struck out.
Amazingly, Zambrano this year has walked 5 men now 5 times.
Andrew 2 for 14 against him in his career with a homer. He's got a little bit of a 3/4 arm angle on his delivery, which makes it that much tougher on right-handers. Good slider, and takes a little off his breaking ball at times to make it that much tougher. 1-1. Talked about the shortcomings of the Cubs offense and some of their pitching. Their defense hasn't been that bad. Tied for 6th in the league, made 27 errors. Andrew didn't like that one. 1-2.
A little chat with Brian O'Nora. And it continues.
See what he comes back with here. Took a little bit off that pitch. Still 1-2. I don't think that's where he wanted it. He got away with it inside. Dusty Baker waiting on word from the higher ups as to whether or not he's going to be the Cubs manager beyond this year. 2-2.
Tough spot. General Manager Jim Hendry's had his deal extended. Andy McPhail, the team president, talked about extending both those men in spring training. But with the Cubs' terrible start, how do you...
Well, it sounded like today in the paper, an interview with Andy, that was more the general manager's job, that they've got to work together, and it's kind of up to the general manager to decide if he wants him back.
Andy has always said that, and that is true. And he believes in giving his baseball people a great deal of autonomy. It is Jim Hendry's call. Jim Hendry did indeed hire Dusty Baker when his contract was not renewed, or he chose to leave San Francisco, however way you want to describe that particular dance. But I really believe Dusty Baker's done it backwards. If the 2003 season had been going on now for the Cubs, he'd already have his deal, but he won very quickly. And consequently, the expectation levels rose here in Chicago.
2-2.
And after the heartbreak of the NLCS in 03, the 2004 Cubs just collapsed, choked, some might call it. Last year they didn't play well again, not playing well again this year.
Now the 2-2. Well hit to left. On the run. Caught by Freddie Bynum. Good play. He got a good jump on that ball. He doesn't play that much, mostly as a pinch hitter, but he robbed Andrew of perhaps a double.
That's the hardest hit ball from Atlanta today. He got away with a slider that just spun, and Andrew hit a line drive to left. Bynum nearly fell over as he made that catch on the warning track. That's how hard Andrew ticketed that ball.
Too bad he didn't get it elevated a little bit. LaRoche a walk and a foul out. Braves won 6 out of 7 games from the Cubs last year. Went 2-1 here at Wrigley Field. And lately they've won 10 of their last 14 games. Backdoor slider missed, 2-0. What breeze we have, still blowing in from right field.
The wind tunnel in this park, especially for left-hand hitters, is the 368 sign in left center field. Mark Grace made a living hitting the ball at that spot. And no matter the direction the wind blows, if you can keep it below the top row bleachers and hit it on a line there, the ball just zooms out of this park.
Cubs have given up 48 stolen bases this year, but only one by Zambrano. Chipper with a short lead. 3-1. Zambrano now at the 100 pitch mark. We're in the 6th. 37 came in the first inning. Right there, full count. Like Adam was looking for something off speed. Chipper will get a head start from first base. They hold him over there. It's a little interesting with a left-handed batter up there. A lot of times the first baseman will play behind the runner here. Runner goes down and in. He walked him. 2 on for Francoeur, who drew a bases loaded walk in the first. Braves don't have a hit, but they've had 6 walks today. And maybe an opportunity to take advantage of those walks right here. Francoeur hitting .309 with runners in scoring position. And a chance to at least tie the game with a base hit. Strike call.
That's 6 walks, by the way. The 6th time in Zambrano's career he's done that. That's a career high for him.
Good stop by Barrett. 1-1. Two on, 2 out. 2-1 Cubbies. Took a little off, but right at Bynum, and he's got it. The inning is over. 2 more walks, no more damage. We go to the bottom of the 6th.
I think it happens to a lot of guys over 50. See, I was always going during the movies and hating to stand up, going during a presentation and hating to stand out.
For you this afternoon.
And once I got there, I had trouble going, and I was going 3 times a night. I said to my doctor, I have a going problem. He said, you have a growing problem. It's not your bladder. Your prostate is growing. See, I had an enlarging prostate. My doctor prescribed Avodart.
Most medicines only treat symptoms. Avodart, with time, actually shrinks the prostate and improves urinary symptoms.
So I can go more easily when I need to go and go less often.
Only your doctor can tell if your symptoms are from an enlarged prostate and not a more serious condition such as prostate cancer, so have regular prostate exams. Avodart is for men only. Women should not take or handle Avodart due to the risk of a specific birth defect. Tell your doctor if you have liver disease. Rarely, sexual side effects, tenderness, or swelling of the breast can occur. Call your doctor today. Avodart for your growing problem.
Introducing the new John Deere Select Series featuring 4-wheel steer. Maneuverability has reached the turning point. See our entire new line at johndeere.com.
When success is real, it shows. Introducing new Just for Men. Its new True Color formula targets only gray. Easy as shampooing. For a natural look that is real. Real to the eye. Real to the touch. Real where it counts. New True Color Just for Men.
You've got a lot of stuff to paint, but not a lot of time. The new Wagner Power Painter with innovative lock-and-go cartridges lets you go from staining to painting in a snap. Wagner, paint fast, paint smart.
Braves TBS Baseball, brought to you by Avodart. Ask your doctor if Avodart is right for you. And by Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right.
Chuck Jones has a double and an RBI today in 2 trips. He leads off the 6th, 2-1 Cubs. Tim Hudson's pitched very well, except for 3 batters leading off the 4th that all reached. 2 of them scored. Off the glove of Todd Pratt, 1-1.
A hit-and-run play, a rare hit-and-run play turned in by the Cubs, the difference in the game.
One that Giles almost spoiled. In on his hands, 1-2. Tim's been sharp. Made a couple of mistakes in the 4th inning on his location, but just needs some runs to work with. To left field, Langerhand's got a good jump, and the ball stays up for him. 1 out. Hudson, when he's been given 4 or more runs to work with in his career, 88-6. So get him 3 more and take your chances. Ramirez had an RBI with a ground out in the 4th inning. He doubled and was left stranded in the 2nd. Are you a little surprised he's not batting cleanup instead of Barrett?
Yeah, I think that when I was doing the Cubs games, Ramirez was really better as a complimentary piece, not as the main attraction.
Second hit for him today.
But historically, as the weather heated up, so did he, a lot like Sammy Sosa when he played right field in Chicago. But there's no question that Ramirez's start this year, one of the big disappointments. 9 home runs, nothing to sneeze at, but just 24 RBIs 2 months in. At third base, they need much more than that, especially now that Derek Lee's hurt.
Freddie Bynum, who made a couple of good plays in left field, stands in. He's hit a comebacker to the mound, and he struck out. And they have tied him up in there, both at bats.
Ramirez has hit cleanup 31 times, at 5th 7 times, 6th 4 times. For Chicago.
So today's a rarity, batting 6th. There's Derek Lee. Cubs need him back in the lineup. Well hit to right. Francoeur can only watch this one sail out of here. Bynum has his 2nd homer. Tried to come in on him again and couldn't get it in there.
His first career home run came May 17th against John Roush. His second, a tailor-made fastball over the inside edge, and he crushed it into the wind. And the Cubs have a big lead behind Big Z.
4-1 the score now. Ronnie Cedeno takes ball 1. Freddie Bynum. 1-1. Hal Galima looked up the numbers on Ramirez batting cleanup too. Of course, Chip batting 191 in the cleanup spot, 362 elsewhere. Like you said, he doesn't want to be the man. Big two-hopper to Renteria. 2 down.
Let's put it to the fans in pitching terms. Some guys are comfortable pitching the 8th inning, but not the 9th. It's one of those little quirks of the game.
Zambrano gets a good hand as he steps in. He has no hit the Braves through 6 innings. And now leads 4-1. Want to know the count? That's the 5th home run allowed by Hudson this year. Down the line, Langer hands, gets there. Long run, but he made a good play. And the inning is over, but a 2-run homer by Freddie Bynum puts the Cubs up by 3.
Classic white wall. It's clean. It's contemporary. It says
we can't pick the right color.
That's what it says?
You can't hear that?
The Home Depot has everything you need to paint with confidence. And during this Memorial Day weekend, get $5 off 1-gallon cans and $20 off 5-gallon buckets of bare interior paints and stains.
At the Home Depot, you can do it, we can help.
It's fresh, it's soothing. It's like a tropical vacation.
Welcome to the new Mushroom Kingdom. New Super Mario Brothers. This only happens on Nintendo DS. Rated everyone.
And we're back. Jack's got nothing?
I'm all in. Yikes.
Hung folds. Coleman's got pocket 10s.
Are you bluffing?
Does it look like I'm bluffing?
Take it. Oh, I borrowed that.
Don't worry, Gare. There's always my value menu, where you'll find my classic and delicious tacos. You can get 2 of them for just 99 cents.
Jack's got bullets. Now that's a world-class poker face.
People everywhere are discovering Rembrandt whitening strips. The strip with form-fit technology that whitens faster in just 5 days. Faster, easy whitening. Rembrandt whitening strips, a whole new world of white.
Growing up, I used to spend my time at the Boys and Girls Club. The clubs are a safe place with all kinds of activities. I used to spend most of my time on the baseball field. Some things never change.
Major League Baseball and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America believe that all kids should have a safe place to go.
And I also learned a little something about baseball.
That was a no-doubt shot by A-Rod.
Major League Baseball is a proud sponsor of the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Together, they create a positive place for kids.
Fans, today's know-how question of the game built by the Home Depot comes from Chris Fisher from Palco, Kansas, who wants to know, what does the phrase "pulled the string on a hitter" mean? As Langerhans leads off the 7th, and basically, Chris, it means that the pitcher threw a baseball with a change of speeds. It looked like he had a string attached to it and was able to slow it down as he threw it. Chip.
Ryan Langerhans takes the ball low, 2-0 the count. Braves have had some chances in this game. Loaded the bases in the first, got a bases-loaded walk to score their only run. Zambrano walked 2 last inning, but got out of trouble. But he leads 4-1. And by the way, as you look at that manual scoreboard up in center field, it says 8 Cubs. Next to the Braves or visitors, there's big old blank space. That's not a good thing. That means you don't have a hit yet. Still waiting for those leather-lunged Braves fans to let Zambrano know he's throwing a gem. As we look at Ryan Langerhans' scorecard, brought to you by Ortho, We'd Be Gone Max. He went around, I think. And the appeal to third. Langerhans tried to sell it, but he went around. And that's 8 strikeouts for Zambrano.
Yes, he did. I'm surprised. Well, the pitch was a little bit up and away. Chuck Merriweather with the call at third.
Here's Todd Pratt. He's flat out struck out. A wicked cut sends that to the second deck. Wilson Bedemit's in the on-deck circle as McKay McBride loosens down the right field line. And Chicago's bullpen's up and working too.
Zambrano's working faster than he has all day.
Why not? He's feeling it. He's got the lead, hasn't given up a hit. So let's see if Atlanta can get something going in their final 3 turns at bat. I don't think they'd mind getting into Chicago's bullpen. A bullpen that's been pretty good for them. But you can't pitch any better than Zambrano has. Bobby Howry, one of their free agent signings in the offseason, loosens up toward third. Ramirez diving play. Catcher running. Walker dug it out. Big league play at both ends. 2 out.
Anybody else running, this is a base hit. Not only did Ramirez make a diving stop behind the bag, but then he couldn't get it out of his glove. He had a double clutch, threw low, and a second baseman forced to play first base in the absence of Derek Lee digs it out. An unlikely combination, but it worked.
So Bediment for Hudson in the 7th. Tim leaves after 6 innings, 4 runs, a homer, a couple of strikeouts, 1 intentional walk, and 8 Chicago hits. So Bediment part of the Braves bench corps, which has been very, very good this year. Braves bench, 22 pinch hits and a .297 collective pinch hit average. That leads the majors. That hit total, the batting average, 4th. And oh, by the way, Zambrano's still a no-hitter. It's getting serious now. 2 outs in the 7th.
See that note there at the bottom of the screen. Travis Smith, who pitched for the Braves in Arizona, was sent back to Richmond, but he had the option of declaring himself a free agent rather than accept the assignment, and he has declared himself a free agent. We wish him well, and I'm sure there's some teams out there that could use him. He pitched pretty well.
And Travis of Kansas City calls, we heartily recommend the ribs. Crowd on its feet. Last Cub no-hitter, Milt Pappas. And were it not for a ball 4, it would have been a perfecto against the Padres. The pitch just missed. Full count.
Zambrano's feeling it. As soon as he throws a pitch, he can't wait to get it back from Michael Barrett.
Fly ball, well hit deep right. Jones going back, shielding his eyes, can't find it, and it's off his glove and off the wall. Bediment around second, throws out an anchor. Jones was wandering back and never saw the baseball, and now we'll see it scored a hit. Don Frisky, the official scorer here. There goes the no-no, and Bediment in scoring position, 2 outs.
Has to be a hit. He didn't see the ball. He was trying to find it. I think he was ready to take it in the face if he had to. Give Wilson Bediment credit, though. Nobody else has been able to make hard contact against him today, and here you can see Jock Jones really struggling, and the ball darn near hits him right over the top of the glove. That has to go as a hit, unfortunately, for Zambrano.
And you can't fault Jones. He had the sunglasses on. Just a bad break for him and for Zambrano. Now again, the Braves a chance. And now, this is the Carlos Zambrano the Cubs have to guard against.
Yeah.
The no-hitter's gone. Now the emotional reality sets in. He's thrown a pitch out of the zone to Giles. If he makes another mistake, tying run could come to the
And
plate.
give Barrett credit. He's seen this before, and he wanted to remind him, you know, we got to get that behind us and win the ball game now. And you pitch great, get back on track.
By the way, 23rd pinch hit for the Atlanta bench, and a 1-0 count to Marcus.
Marcus getting a lot of fastballs thrown by him. And I still think that that bat waggle he's got working is something different from last year. He's kind of throwing the bat toward the Braves on deck circle.
Down the right field line. If that stays fair, that'll score a run. It is fair. And Giles with a base hit. It's a 4-2 game, and the tying run will indeed come to the plate. And Dusty Baker is not going to let Zambrano lose this decision.
It's a huge break for Atlanta. And whoever they bring in out of the bullpen can't pitch any better or be any more effective than he's been today, despite the walks. Giles goes the other way. Good at bat for Marcus to drive in a run.
Zambrano, 6 2/3 innings of 2-hit baseball. 2 runs are in. The man at first, Giles, belongs to him. And Bobby Howry's coming on for the Cubs, and we're heading to Atlanta, where we join Mark Fine.
All right, thanks very much, Chip. We were waiting for a little bit of a comeback. Always fun to see a no-no, but rather be your guys, obviously, than the other guy. Wanted to check in. You know, we're about 2 months into the season now, 40, 45 games, depending upon which team you're talking about. A good time to really gauge how teams are doing. Wanted to look first at the teams that have really improved thus far this season, gotten better from last season. Obviously, Detroit at the top of the list. You know, General Manager Dave Dombrowski doesn't get nearly enough credit. He's the guy who got a World Series in Florida, then brought him back to another World Series. He's now running things in Detroit. Take a look at Houston at the bottom. They've improved. Of course, they made the World Series last year. Well, what's the opposite of improvement? Not sure, but here are the guys who are doing it. Florida obviously sold everybody off. They're down. Angels, bit of a disappointment, but everybody expects them to get back on track. Maybe the biggest disappointments, Baltimore and Minnesota, both of those teams actually trying to add guys. Baltimore obviously dealing with injuries. Hopefully no injuries for us, just more runs. Braves after this.
Delta, official airline of the Braves, unofficial airline of the world, now out of here to Copenhagen and over 400 worldwide destinations.
Jerry Crawford must have reservations at Harry Carey's tonight, as it's a quick strike count to Edgar Renteria. Bobby Howry, signed by the Cubs this offseason, along with Scott Air to bolster a Chicago bullpen.
And he can go out there just about every day. He's a little bit rubber armed. If he has one chink in his armor this year, it's that he's inherited 9 base runners and 5 have scored.
Well, if Howry gets out of this, you figure Air's going to come on and pitch the 8th with Chipper, Andrew, and LaRoche up. Then Dempster's ready for the 9th. Cubs bullpen, normally a real problem for them. He's done a pretty good job this year.
Decent.
ERA collectively under 4. They strike out a little less than a man an inning. But they have logged a lot of frames so far. Off his thumbs and into the seats. That's the man of the hour for Chicago. Carlos Zambrano had a no-hitter into the 7th before Wilson Betemit, off the Braves bench, recorded the first Atlanta hit. Giles with a single to right plate at him. It's now a 4-2 game. Still time left here in Chicago. to second. Easy play, Nafi Perez. Braves get their first hit and their second run as we stretch in Chicago. The coach, Ron Santo, will sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" with his Cubbies in front, 4-2.
Introducing the new John Deere Select Series featuring 4-wheel steer. Maneuverability has reached the turning point. See our entire new line at johndeere.com.
There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's World MasterCard, the card that won't hold you back.
With Minwax water-based wood stains, you can join the color revolution. With 74 dramatic colors, and use Minwax polycrylic protective finish for a crystal clear top coat. The results are revolutionary. Minwax makes and keeps wood beautiful.
My business spends thousands of dollars on materials,
On supplies.
On equipment.
So when I heard about a credit card that gives you up to 5% cash back,
I didn't need a second opinion.
With the Platinum Business Cash Rebate Card from American Express, you can get up to 5% cash back automatically with no limit on how much you can earn. Call 1-800-NOW-OPEN to apply.
Cash back on EKG machines.
cash back on drywall.
on engines,
On computers.
Even pizza.
There's no annual fee and no interest for 6 months. Plus, you'll get the service you deserve from Open, the small business team at American Express.
$640 back. Nice.
The Platinum Business Cash Rebate Card from American Express. Call now for a 60-second decision and start getting up to 5% cash back.
Cash back that goes right back into my pocket.
4-2 now our score, and Tim Hudson will be relieved by McKay McBride. Young Atlanta left-hander on to face the top of the order, and McBride pitching for the 10th time. Pierre, Perez, and Walker coming up.
He's been a little bit inconsistent, but when he's been on, he has been outstanding. And I think it's just a matter of innings. He just needs a few more innings, a few more outings to get in a groove. Remember, he started the season on the disabled list.
5 days ago, picked up his second major league save, his first of the season down in Arizona. And Pierre loops a fly ball to left. It hangs up for Langerhans, and what a catch.
Oh,
what
baby.
A catch in left, Ryan Langerhans. Robbing Juan Pierre, 1 out.
No way that ball should have been caught. That ball was dying. He had a long way to go. And I mean to tell you, barely got this above the ground, and then it goes right up into the web of his glove, and he still hangs on. Outstanding effort. Tell you, when you're scuffling a little bit with the bat, you turn in a play like that, especially with a leadoff man like Pierre, it's just as good as a base hit.
And pitchers sure appreciate that, don't they?
Outstanding.
Nafi Perez turns around and hits right-handed. He's 0 for 3 in the game. One ball, no strikes. Perez has been around a long time. A real good utility player, but pressed into everyday service because of the Cubs' injuries, as we've mentioned today.
He was the guy that put the full court press on for Call to come over to Chicago. He was as involved in the recruiting process as anybody.
And had they done that, Perez would have lost a lot of everyday playing time. But they can shuffle him around in the lineup. Play the outfield. Get off the bench. You see Chad Parado getting ready. We'll see Rafael Monday when the Dodgers are in town. Line to left. Langerhans will have to hustle over to keep Perez at first. Now Todd Walker's coming up. Speaking of the Dodgers, interesting story in the LA Times the other day. Cesar Izturis is going out on a rehab. He's going to play second base and shortstop down at AAA, and when he comes back to the big league club, he said, I expect to play shortstop. And the Dodgers said you will from time to time. Rafael Furcal might play some third base.
Really?
For Los Angeles.
Huh. So they've not been happy with his shortstop play, obviously.
He's not hitting real well at last report. But I think they want his bat in the lineup, and they have always loved his Turris.
Cesar better check the pay stub on the 1st and 15th.
Yeah, that sort of determines the pecking order, doesn't it?
Because I can promise him that the guy making $13 million is not going to sit.
There are a bunch of other teams that wouldn't mind having his Turris if he's unhappy. 1 ball, no strikes. Walker swings through that. He's thinking about a home run. Wind has died down a bit. Just an ever so gentle breeze atop the scoreboard. And you can tell it's spring off in the distance. The sailboats are gliding across Lake Michigan. See them off in the distance? Look past the rooftops down the right field line. You can get just a sliver of a look at Lake Michigan. One, two.
Rafael Furcal made 15 errors all of last year. He's made 11 already this year for LA. So that might be throwing some clouds of doubt as to whether or not the best guy's playing shortstop, and maybe that's what Asturias is referring to.
Yeah, I don't think Asturias was malicious. He was just saying that's my position. That's where I play. That's where I'm assuming he feels more comfortable.
And assuming he can throw.
Right. That's the other question. Don't worry about the Dodgers on Monday. Big homestand coming up for the Braves. The holiday continues Monday. Dodgers will be in. Then Arizona comes in for 4. Then Washington in for 3. And there's where you can see the Braves on TBS Sunday and Monday back home. And then our next road trip. How about this? Just a 2-city trip.
No way.
Yeah. Houston and Florida. That'll get us into the middle of June already. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Pete said something about that this morning about it. Have we been on the road all year?
32 of the first 50 are away from Atlanta, and yet the Braves just 4.5 games out of first. Pretty remarkable. So we look forward to some home cooking Monday, and look forward to you joining us either here on TBS or if you're in the metro Atlanta area for the holiday, come on out. Good seats available. Walker's worked to full count now with McBride. Toronto getting ready for Michael Barrett, the Cubs cleanup man and catcher. 4-2 game. And back out of play foul.
He's got a pretty good fastball working today. Remember, Hudson tied Walker up with a pretty good fastball in the 4th inning. Tried to go back in there when he was leading off the 4th, but missed location. He dropped it down some, and Walker was able to line a hit.
Lines that to center, but Andrew retreats, and Barrett is announced. Toronto is ready. Let's see if he'll be summoned here. Looking ahead to the 8th for Atlanta. Chipper Andrew LaRoche. Nobody up in the pen for the Cubs. Howery apparently will continue on. A little surprised by that. The left-handed bats coming for Atlanta, but we'll see how it works out. Again to center field. Andrew broke in, still going back, and it's over his head. That hurts. Perez around third is going to get waved. Barrett doubles home. Another run, and the Cubs a 5-2 lead. So Atlanta native Michael Barrett getting his licks in again today, this time with the bat.
Well, you can understand Bobby Cox thinking, you know, if we got a runner at first, 2 out. If McBride can get Barrett, then I can leave him out there and pitch to Jock Jones, who would lead off the 8th. But Barrett spoiled that strategy. You don't see too many line drives hit over Andrews' head, but that one got over his head quickly.
That's the importance of balance in your lineup, not just with power and speed, but left-handed, right-handed. You can wear out your bullpen or go through your bullpen pretty quickly trying to match up with the team's offense when you have things stacked up the way the Cubs do. Barrett a right-hand hitter, Ramirez a right-hand hitter, in between Pierre and Bynum from 1st to 7th in the lineup card. So it's a more difficult climb for the Braves. 5-2 Cubs are in front in the series opener in Chicago.
It's kind of funny, that ball that Barrett hit, though. It looked like Andrew felt that ball was going to have some top spin on it, and kind of sink down back to him, and it didn't. It held its line pretty well.
Outside corner, strike 3. Cubs had an insurance run in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1 run, 2 hits. 5-2 Chicago the lead.
Take off your toga.
You're officially starting a fraternity.
Put on your earmuffs and join the ancient brotherhood.
Frank, pace yourself. Just got a little overexcited. Sorry.
Old School, 3 nights in a row. Starts Friday, June 9th on TBS.
The wait for the coals just got a lot shorter. Kingsford Charcoal's been improved with new Surefire grooves. It heats up faster, so the grill's never been ready sooner. Kingsford with new Surefire grooves. BBQ, PDQ.
As a growing business, you don't always get the attention you really need. That's where the principal can help. From banking to health plans to retirement solutions, we have lots of ways to help a not-so-big business rise above the crowd. The Principal Financial Group will give you an edge.
Introducing Aqua Velva Ice Balm Aftershave. Alcohol-free, vitamin-infused, it firms and tones skin. New Aqua Velva Ice Balm with a fresh, clean scent. Skincare from A to V.
A John Deere 100 series can be yours starting at $13.99. Welcome to the John Deere neighborhood. Now available in more stores than ever. See the full line at johndeere.com.
Play hundreds of the greatest video games at GameTap. Get your free trial at GameTap.com.
2 innings of baseball left in Chicago. McKay McBride, an inconsistent inning of work, gives up another run. 5-2. The Cubs are in front, but the middle of the Braves orders up. Chipper, Andrew, and LaRoche. Atlanta again just 2 hits in the game as Howery goes to work. And a good rip foul. And here's Chipper's scorecard brought to you by Wagner. Chipper's had a good road trip, but today 0 for 2 with a walk. Cubs trying to get something going, anything going. Get a little win streak going heading into the month of June. And they keep using the rallying cry of the Houston Astros of the last couple of seasons, which is somewhat interesting. Bitter Central Division rivals. Houston was 15-30 at one point, and they were printing tombstones in the newspapers in Houston. Their playoff hopes were dead. Not so. It can happen, but it's going to be a big uphill climb for Chicago if Wood and Pryor can't come back, and if Derek Lee struggles in his return. Not just with the number of games they have to win, but now the teams they have to pass in a vastly improved National League Central. Ball 3 to Chipper Jones.
Yeah, not only did the Astros get it turned around, they got to the World Series for the first time. Despite getting swept by the White Sox, they had a miraculous comeback. And that's something Andy McPhail said today in his interview in the paper, was that we're not throwing in the towel on this season yet.
But they can't get swept by teams like the Marlins if they have any realistic hope. I mean, that was just a real bad stretch for the Cubs. And Chipper Jones aboard again. That is 7 walks issued by Cub pitching. And late inning walks have long been the bane of whoever sits in that seat on the Chicago bench. And here's Andrew.
Chipper's been on base either by hit or walk 33 of the 35 games he's played.
Andrew has walked, struck out, and hit a bullet to left that Bynum caught in the 6th.
That was a big run for the Cubbies in the bottom of the 7th. That 2-out double by Barrett. Anytime you get one guy on, you're within striking distance to tie the game when you're down 4-2.
Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Braves and Cubs, the only afternoon game in baseball today. Everything else under the lights. Let's play the Marlins later. Pedro goes for his 6th win in a row. Outside corner, another strike. Jim Hendry, the GM of the Cubs, set the market with Ayer and Howry, signing those 2 guys to long-term big money contracts. Some say that bit of general manager work inflated the market for the relief corps in baseball. It certainly made it more difficult for the Braves to try to re-sign Kyle Farnsworth, who got very similar money, if not a little more, from the Yankees to set up rather than close in Atlanta.
Howry was in 79 games for Cleveland last year. I was talking about him being a guy that would take the ball just about any day, and he had a 2.47 ERA. Taking some good pitches on Andrew away. He's trying to take any power away from Andrew by making him go out and reach for pitches.
Howry, 3 years, $12 million. Ayer, 3 years, $11 million. Farnsworth, 3 years, 17. Flash Gordon, 3 years, 18. Loaiza, 3 years, $21.3 million. Billy Wagner, 4 years, $43 million. You can't start. You can pitch the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Head to the bank happy. Hard hit ball past Perez. Braves have something cooking here in the 8th. Jones will concede the base as Chipper's at the corner. Andrew at first. Now the tying run is coming to the plate. And a decision for Dusty Baker. You have the left hand hitting LaRoche, then the right hand hitting Francoeur on deck. And Dusty Baker is going to take Howry out of the game.
That was a great at bat by Andrew, and Howry made a good pitch for a called strike to the outside corner. Andrew knew he couldn't give up on that pitch again and kept fouling off pitch after pitch out there, and then went that way with it and hit it to right.
So the Braves have a rally in the 8th. They're in the Cubs bullpen. Let's see if they can cash it in. 5-2 our score. Here's Mark.
All right, yeah, obviously Braves fans hoping they might be able to cash in on this. Had a nice opportunity to see somebody pitch a very good game, at least for a large part of the game as far as Zambrano was concerned. We thought we'd take a look at some of the pitchers who really stood out this season. As again, we head into the 3rd month of the season. Oriole fans obviously quite familiar with Brandon Webb. You know, he's going to be in action again tonight, already 7-0 on the season. And Pedro Martinez also in action tonight. Webb taking on Cincinnati. Pedro.
Scott Ayer in for the 22nd time. He stranded 10 of 14 inherited runners this year. He's got 2 on, nobody out in the Atlanta 8th. And Bobby Cox is going to pinch hit Brian Jordan for Adam LaRoche. Jordan off the bench this year is 1 for 10. Line to short. Cedeno saved a run. Can't hit it any harder or better. But Cedeno saved a hit and a run. Tough break, 1 out.
Cubs certainly can't complain about their defense today. It's been terrific. This is a game changer right here. That might have been hit hard enough to get to the gap and drive in 2 runs. Ayers' last outing 3 days ago, outstanding down in Florida. He faced 4 batters and struck out 3 of them.
Now Francoeur hits. Jeff 0 for 2 in the game with a walk. That walk drove in the first Atlanta run. Braves still a shot to tie it with a long ball here. But Francoeur's troubles on the road continue. 23 hits and 123 at-bats away from Turner Field. On the bright side of things, he's killed left-handed pitching, so something's got to give here with men at the corners, 1 out. Two balls, no strikes.
Wasn't sure about Brian O'Nora if he was going to call that a strike or not. He stood up and kind of flexed his right arm.
Fooled the scorekeeper for a moment. Langerhans scheduled to hit next. Late swing, 2 balls and a strike. But Matt Diaz in the on-deck circle. And a right-hander up in the Cubs bullpen.
That was a good 2-0 pitch. Had some good downward movement to it.
Scott Williamson is loosening. Well, Francoeur's worked it 3-1. Pretty good patience shown by Jeff in this game.
And he knows that Ayers going to need to throw him a strike because he doesn't want to risk putting the tying run on base. But that doesn't mean it's going to be down the middle. Make it be a pitch that you can handle, something you can drive. You've got another one to play with.
Back to the mound. Air. Bad throw. Perez saved it. Throw to first, not in time, and a run is in. Air had a lot of time. He rushed his throw and almost threw it into center field. Chipper scores. It's a 5-3 game. And again, the tying run's coming up. Mercy, that could have been disaster for Chicago.
I thought from our vantage point that he had thrown it into center field. Good play by Nafi Perez, who had to throw off his back foot there. Couldn't get anything on the throw after saving. Look at Cedeno. Cedeno's trying to help him jump. Threw it low, and Francoeur hustled down the line to get that run in.
Wow. Great leap by Nafi Perez. And Francoeur clearly did beat the play, give him an RBI. Can't assume a double play. And now Larry Rothschild out to talk to Air as Matt Diaz announced for Atlanta. 5-3 game in the 8th inning. And beware Diaz on the first pitch. He jumps and hits very, very well.
And doing his usual number on left-handed pitching too, hitting .345.
So the Cubs giving the Braves a chance. And that went too far inside. Again, the Braves bench just sizzling.
Watched Matt take batting practice some today, and he was really driving the ball hard and deep to right field.
Well, we'll take that. It's sent Jones to the wall a couple times in this game. Shoots it toward right. Good call, partner, but it's out of play foul.
One mistake some pitchers have made against Matt Diaz is, especially lefties throwing the sinkers or sidearm sinkers that he saw from the Mets, is that they think they've got him set up and they can come in on him, and that's been a big mistake to Diaz.
Wind picking up just a bit.
Still turn on it.
5-3 in the 8th. And with every Braves hitter that comes up in this 8th inning, it means for the Cubs the more likely it is you might see Renteria, Chipper, Andrew Jones in the ninth. And so these at-bats in the 8th, even if a walk and nothing else happens offensively for you, you make it even tougher for Ryan Dempster, who is the Cubs closer. In the dirt, Barrett. Francoeur didn't get a jump, and you wouldn't want him thrown out in this situation anyway.
No, that's heads-up base running. Might have gotten some help over there from Glenn Hubbard, too. His run is not the important one right now. The one that's important is at the plate. You want to give Diaz a chance to hit.
And he's got a 3-1 count. Good hitter's pitch, or sequence at least, from Scott Air, relieving Bobby Howry, who gave up a run today in a third of an inning. The pitch went fishing and missed it. Full count, 3-2. Well, Francoeur should be running now. But the advantage for the Cubs, Air, a left-hander, is going to get a long look at him. And Todd Walker is going to hold him at first. Jets got to make sure Air releases the baseball.
Yeah, don't get picked off.
Strike 3 right down the middle. Diaz couldn't pull the trigger. Braves get a run on a leadoff walk. They edge a little closer, but still trail by 2.
Made at Sonic is so unique.
It's kind of like the corn dog of beverages. Just because it's unique. It's like the Coney of fountain drinks.
What does conies and corn dogs have anything to do with limeade?
I'm explaining an analogy to you. Do you know what that is, an analogy?
Yeah,
okay.
It's before digital.
Wait.
Your ultimate drink stop. Only at Sonic can you get our classic limeades in regular, cherry, or strawberry. So grab one tonight because Sonic is now open late all summer.
This is Ortho season-long grass and weed killer. It works like this. With one easy spray, it kills existing weeds and forms a protective barrier to prevent new ones. All season long. Ordinary weed killers don't prevent weeds. So staying weed-free all season means spraying month after month after month, using up to 5 times as much weed killer. Ortho season long. All weeds, all gone, all season, guaranteed.
Go to GameTap, where you can play hundreds of the greatest video games from the greatest systems right from your broadband-connected PC. You can play everything from classics like Pac-Man and Sonic to current favorites like Tomb Raider, Splinter Cell, and more. There are over 500 games, and there's no long-term commitment required. Experience the new world of video games. GameTap, expand your playground. Play now and get 2 weeks free at GameTap.com/offer. Some games rated E to T, not all games rated by the ESRB.
At TBS, we back up our programming with math. Everybody loves Raymond. Raymond airs on Wednesdays. Thus, everybody loves Wednesdays. That's called the transitive property. Look it up. Further, TBS airs 3 hours of Raymond every Wednesday night. 2 episodes air per hour. Thus, 6 episodes air on Wednesdays. That's called Raymondification. We made that up. Everybody loves Wednesdays. Watch 6 straight episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond Wednesday nights beginning at 7, only on TBS. It's math-tastic.
The ultimate showdown for supremacy in the West continues. MVP Steve Nash and the Suns take on Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavericks. The road to the championship goes through the Western Conference Finals. Coverage continues tonight, only on TNT.
Changes galore for Atlanta defensively. Chad Perato is on to pitch. And Aramis Ramirez, a big day at the plate, had a big cut. Diaz took a call on 3rd strike. He's in left. Brian Jordan robbed by Cedeno in defensively at 1st. Both those men figure to play tomorrow against Sean Marshall, the Cubs' left-handed starter in Game 2.
Meanwhile, this guy Perato is finding a little niche for himself in the Braves bullpen. Good numbers. The only run he's allowed so far was in his very first outing when he got called up. Since then, 6 straight scoreless outings, including that 3-inning stint against Florida where he struck out 6 batters in 3 innings.
Two quick strikes to Ramirez. Upstairs, Todd Pratt, the veteran Braves catcher, who, as we mentioned, spent a little time here in Chicago. Took Kenny Ray and Perato, a couple of the rookies out A little sightseeing visit here in Chicago yesterday on the off day. Walked him up and down Michigan Avenue, showed him all the fancy stores, which anyone who's married and spent any time with the wife in Chicago knows exist. And after showing Ken and Chad all the great places to shop, Ray goes over to Pirano and says, "Hey, there's an Eddie Bauer. Let's go check out that shop." A little more in line for their budget. As Ramirez, slow roller, deep short. Renteria can't get a handle, and Ramirez will have a 3-hit game. Well, we said he's getting hot. Not bad news for the Braves. He's hot in this series.
Big hit of the day for Chicago came in the 6th inning of Tim Hudson. 1 out and a runner on, and Freddie Bynum, his 2nd career homer. No doubt about it either.
And just in case you wondered, the Cubs are 1-0 in the franchise's history when Bynum hits a home run. He shows bunt and lays it down beautifully. Chipper has only one play.
Nobody at third.
Nobody at third until Brian Jordan. No, he's hustling over there. That's Edgar Renteria hustles over there. Sacrificed by Bynum. Runner at second, 1 out for Cedeno.
Good bunt by Bynum with everybody on top of him. You can see everybody pinched in on that play, and Renteria had to hustle over to cover third base. Normally that's the catcher's play, but to cover third, but the ball was close enough to home plate that Pratt thought he might have to pick it up.
Cedeno 0 for 2 with a walk in the game, and he handled Brian Jordan's laser beam at short that saved a run. The Braves, this has been a game offensively of a few missed opportunities. They were walked 6 times by Carlos Zambrano in the game. And of those 6 walks, he issued just 1 of them scored, which is remarkable. As John Mabry gets set to hit, unless Cedeno lines into a double play here. But Chicago out hitting Atlanta 11-3. Dempster's up in the Cub pen. Mike Remlinger, the former Cub, up for Atlanta. And Dempster looking for a redeemer today. First, the 1-1 pitch. Hard hit ball. Chipper can't get that. It's into left field. Diaz up cleanly. And the Cubs have runners first and third. So 2 hits for Chicago in the 8th inning. And now Mabry's going to hit.
This one just out of the reach of Chipper. Sharply hit. Made the effort to try to knock it down and couldn't.
And Bobby Cox, I believe, is going to call upon Remlinger here. And that indeed is going to be the case. So Pirano goes a third of an inning. A couple of hits, no walks or strikeouts. And the men at the corners for the Cubbies are his responsibility. There's your score. Back to Wrigley after this.
A John Deere 100 series can be yours starting at $13.99. Welcome to the John Deere neighborhood. Now available in more stores than ever. See the full line at johndeere.com.
With over 1.5 million vehicle listings on Cars.com, you can find the right car for you. That's it. And the seller who has it.
My SUV. Yeah, I posted it yesterday.
Find the right car for you. Cars.com.
Fans in the bleachers having a good time, at least if they're Cubs fans. They lead at 5-3. And John Mabry has been announced. He will pinch hit for Chicago. And former Cub Mike Remlinger is on to pitch. Mike has rediscovered the magic back in an Atlanta uniform after 3 seasons in Chicago. Mike came on 3 years ago. His first year with the Cubs, pitched great until he ran out of gas late in the season, and then the last 2 years with the Cubs, injury filled for him. But he's on in a mess here, and we'll see how he fares against Mabry.
Leads the team in appearances. This is his 25th. And he hasn't allowed a run in his last 10 outings.
Mabry just 2 out of 14 as a pinch hitter, hitting a .186 on the season. He has hit into 1 double play this year in 59 at-bats. And that's what Remlinger's looking for here, either that or a strikeout, with Pierre waiting next, and the Braves down 2.
And a typical left-handed hitter in that he's a good low ball hitter. Remlinger's numbers still not as good against lefties as they are against righties. Lefties still hitting him at a 296 clip versus 233 for right-handers, but it's better than it used to be, certainly.
The big breaking ball, the difference maker in that regard for Mike.
Roger McDowell taught him.
That one drifted over the inside part of the plate. I don't think that's where Mike wanted that pitch to go. One ball, no strikes. Ball 2. Dempster's been loosening for a long, long time. To left, but the wind will push that out of play. 2 balls and a strike.
Mike needed a strike there and got it, and really jammed Mabry with that pitch.
Braves and Cubs tomorrow, 1 hour earlier in the East. Be the national telecast for Fox. And then we're back here Sunday. A strike to Mabry. There's a break. 2-2 your count.
See if he comes back with another breaking ball. Got him to chase that one.
They're coming inside. The 2-2 pitch won't be made. First. Bynum a 2-run homer. That hurt. And a 2-out double from Michael Barrett over the head of Andrew Jones hurt. Otherwise, we'd have a 1-run game.
That's kind of funny. Pratt, when the throw went to first, he came up out of his crouch because he didn't want Mabry to see where he had set up, and then he started walking slowly to the mound, but he hadn't called time, and he stopped about halfway and realized it and looked over to Chuck Merriweather at third and gave him the old timeout sign.
Struck him out. A fastball under his hands. Mabry wants to know if it was a strike, and it was. 2 men out.
One of the things that's really helped the resurgence of Mike Remlinger has been some velocity that he's found on his fastball. I asked him what the reason for that was. Did he have anything he put his finger on? He goes, yes, good coffee.
That hasn't endeared Pierre to the fans in Chicago, that statistic. You have to beware of a bunt with him no matter the count. He is down a quick strike. Until you've played here, worked here, been here, and spent a summer watching the Cubs, you have no idea of the magnitude this franchise carries. And Pierre finding out as he almost picked off Ramirez at third. A little bit different playing here for the Cubs. I mean, with 40,000 fans here tonight, that's as many as 10 home games with the Marlins.
No question. Bigger spotlight. Every move analyzed, overanalyzed. And it's obvious to me in his first 4 at-bats plus that swing in this series that he's very defensive.
2 quick strikes. Michael trying to sweep that breaking ball away from him here. And he missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nearing the 4 o'clock hour here in Chicago. Braves have 3 outs left, down a couple of runs. And the 8-9-1 spots on the lineup card due up. And not too many options left for Bobby Cox.
Tried a couple of fastballs, one up out of the zone just as a waste pitch, and he didn't offer. And that one he almost went after it. It was kind of like the fastball he struck out Mabry with. He wanted to put it in the same spot, but was a little too high. I almost hate to give in and throw him anything off speed the way he's just kind of slapping at the ball.
But now he's run it full 3-2, and Nathy Perez next. So the advantage for Cedeno. He can be off to the races, and Remlinger asks Jordan to play behind the man at first.
You've got to stay with the fastball. Try to run it in on him again. They're going away.
Loop to left, but Diaz had him played perfectly, and Pierre 0 for 21 with 2 outs and men in scoring position. Braves have their last chance. They need a 2 spot off that man to tie it up in the ninth.
I always come back to Outback because they always have new dishes, like the Victoria's Crown Filet, a nice tenderloin topped with a horseradish crumb crust. Yeah, that'll get you to come back. Think about this. Outback has boomerangs. When you throw boomerangs, they come back. Both times I was thrown out of Outback, I came back.
You've got a lot of stuff to paint, but not a lot of time. The new Wagner Power Painter with innovative lock-and-go technology lets you go from staining projects to paint jobs in a snap. The paint cartridges lock in and out fast, so you'll even have time to tackle the really big jobs. Get the new lock-and-go Wagner Power Painter, and you've got it all covered. Wagner, paint fast, paint smart.
With over 1.5 million vehicle listings on Cars.com, you can find the right car for you. Find the right car for you. Cars.com.
You know where a ship goes when it gets sick? To the dock!
Repeat after me en español. Coche compacto.
Put it on my bill because it saw the salad dressing. That's the best today.
Coche muy compacto.
I got 1,000,000 of them.
La Quinta. Tough out there, but here, everything's a little brighter, a little warmer. Everything's La Quinta. For reservations, visit lq.com.
Introducing the new John Deere Select Series featuring 4-wheel steer. Maneuverability has reached the turning point. See our entire new line at johndeere.com.
Fans, don't forget last summer's #1 new drama series returns to TNT. See Kira Sedgwick in The Closer. That's Mondays, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central, starting June 12th. Speaking of Closer,
Ryan Dempster is on for Chicago. Pete Orr pinch hitting for Pratt. And a first pitch lined into right field from Pete Orr. Boy, this Braves bench is remarkable. Another Atlanta hit off the bench. That's 2 of them today and 24 on the season. And that brings the tying run to the plate in the form of Brian Pena.
well, Todd Walker had to play in tight in case Pete Orr was going to bunt. And because he was drawn in some, he didn't have enough time to react to that line drive hit right at him. And Dempster's coming off a blown save in Florida 3 days ago.
Last year when Dempster had a save opportunity, the Cubs did not lose a single game. This year, that's happened twice. And the Braves are not done yet in the ninth. Here's Pena. Downstairs a ball. Pena Had Brian McCann not re-aggravated that ankle, probably would have been the odd man out. Probably would have gone back to the minor leagues. When Horacio Ramirez is brought off the disabled list tomorrow. That's probably not going to happen now in ball 2.
This guy's always been a good contact hitter, though. He's had pretty good numbers in the minor leagues, and those numbers last year with Atlanta not reflective of that. And he did get off to a bit of a slow start this year in Richmond, but he put it in play.
Ooh. Rocket to right, but well fouled.
Dempster had a streak snapped of 26 consecutive saves, snapped on May 13th, and that was a Cubs record.
Hard hit ball over third, and that's fair. Another pinch hit. Or around second will hold on there. This is unbelievable.
Telling you, the kid can hit a little bit. Had a .300 career average in the minor leagues prior to this season, and he gets his first at bat this year in an Atlanta uniform and goes the other way and slashes one over Ramirez's head. Dempster faced 6 batters in Florida the other day, walked 2 of them, gave up 2 hits, and blew the save.
All right, let's manage along now with Bobby Cox. As we told you, with all the walks, the lineup now turns over in the 9th. A lot more difficult job for Dempster. If you're Bobby Cox and the Braves with runners first and second, nobody out, and Giles up, what do you do with Marcus?
Well, the old book is, you know, you play for the win on the road. But I never liked that rule in the 9th inning. You play all day, you're trying to win. I like to try and tie it up.
No sign of a bunt, and it's a wild pitch. That's just what the Cubs didn't want to see. Wow.
You don't have to worry about that now. Dempster took care of it for you. Rothschild on the move out to the mound. Even though Barrett was set up outside, that slider was thrown so far out off the plate he couldn't even backhand it. And then it becomes chase the ball around the brick wall.
That's been a game they've played for many a year here. Now
well, now the Braves have a chance.
Right.
Let's see what they can do.
Right.
The bats have been struggling, but Cubs have put it on a tee for them if they can just execute and get these runners in.
Giles an RBI single in the 7th, his 5th hit of the road trip, 2 in scoring position, down 2. And nowhere near another ball. I gotta wonder about the fickle fate of a closer. How much of it's physical and how much of it's mental? Dempster, a blown save, sometimes a day off after a blown save, the worst thing that could happen.
You're right.
And he just eased that ball in to get himself a strike.
Laid that one in there.
Dempster, a lifelong starting pitcher with the Marlins, then hurt his arm. The Cubs signed him a couple of years ago, gave him a chance to close. And he swung at a bad ball. 2-2 your count.
Took that 2-0 pitch down the middle, and then he got excited about driving these runs in and chased a bad ball as a result. All he's got to do is put the ball in play somewhere other than to Ramirez at third or back to the mound. The infield's back. They'd concede 1 run, and if he can hit the ball to the right side, it's like getting a leadoff double over to third base. Pena could advance too.
Make contact. The 2-2 pitch. Didn't offer. That was well off the plate. Renteria would be next. And you know the former Cardinal takes special delight in coming to Chicago and spoiling a Cubs party. Bases are loaded, nobody out. 10th walk issued by the Cubs pitching staff today.
Good patience there by Marcus. They went right back to the spot where he had chased that bad ball and ran the risk of walking him, and they did. If there's a benefit to that, it does set up a force play at every base, and a double play would be exactly what the Cubs would take here and still give up a run, but they'd be happy with the double play.
Chippers on deck. Renteria's up, and the Chicago pen is going to get busy again. Williamson was up earlier. Let's see if he's up again.
Yep. get some help too.
Generous strike. Renteria can't believe that. 0-1 your count. When Dempster's right, gets a lot of sinker ball strikes.
That pitch was coming back, but it never came back enough.
Edgar 0 for 4. Why not from Dempster? Try that spot again. You might get lucky. A ball and a strike.
The hard part for Dempster here is Renteria is so good at going the other way, and he's trying to throw that slider off the plate to the right-handed hitters and the sinker, but he's good at driving the ball to right.
Just like that, but he's behind in the count now, 1-2. Tony La Russa told me in spring training, Edgar Renteria lives for situations like this. Wants the bat in his hands late. Wants the ball hit to him late. Well, he's got a chance to be a hero. Braves have him loaded, nobody out. And that man was 7 years old when this inning started. 2-2.
I'll say this for Dempster, he's not afraid to waste a pitch. Despite his problems here today, he's still confident that he can come back after wasting a pitch and get the hitter. He was not able to do that with Giles.
Ooh. 3-2. Dempster wanted that pitch, and that did not miss by much.
That might have evened the score. A little high.
Ball gets away from the Cubs bullpen. And time called as Renteria tries to keep a perfect year going with the bases loaded this year. 4 for 4.
Keep in mind too, Pena at second base does not run well. It has to be a pretty clean single to the gap to get him in. Oh, ball 4, I think.
However, when you look at this Cub defensive outfield, Jones doesn't throw well. Pierre couldn't throw out Long John Silver. And Bynum's an infielder playing left. So that will be an interesting decision.
And Freddie Gonzalez knows that at third base.
A run is in, a bases loaded walk, and Chipper Jones is coming up. 11 walks. And the second bases loaded walk for Atlanta's offense in this game. And now the pressure on Chicago's defense. They can't afford to give up a run on a double play. They've got to come home.
Yeah. And a great job by Remlinger in the bottom of the 8th to prevent runners from scoring. Scoring has allowed Atlanta this opportunity.
5-4 now. This is unbelievable. Thinking about a slam. Strike 1. And you just, again, the anguish of these fans in Chicago. I mean, look at these folks. Zambrano nearly a no-hitter, and here they are hanging on for dear life in the 9th. Nothing in 2.
Didn't mean to do that. Chipper 9 for 34 in his career against Dempster. Lots of at-bats with a homer. Andrew on deck, a 343 mark with a couple of homers.
As you said, it's on a tee. Can Atlanta cash it in? Oh, a twitch, but no call. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
What do you think? Oh, baby.
It had the plate.
Yes, it did.
1-2. 2-2.
You make a good pitch like that, 0-2, and you don't get the call, and you running through Dempster's head, I'm sure, is like, oh, now what do I do?
Yeah, sure.
You know, I thought I had him struck out. Now where do I have to go to get the out?
And as a hitter, don't you feel like you avoided the
boy, you sure do.
2-2. Now he's got to throw him a strike. And this place,
11 walks today already.
Is not going to be happy if he walks another man.
Well, not to mention you have to go in the clubhouse and face a guy 6'5", 255 who thought he had a win.
3 balls, 2 strikes. He got him. Oh, Chipper Jones down on strikes.
He completely tied Chipper up on a 3-2 pitch with the bases loaded. Slider that just had a little bit of bite on it, not that much. Good pitch, but Chipper couldn't go after it. He was looking fastball away all the way, and it tied him up.
So Dempster, instead of issuing the 10th walk, they're stuck at 9. Bases loaded, 1 out, and Andrew up. Again, a fly ball could tie it. A walk would tie it. A wild pitch would tie it. Everything's right there for Atlanta. Ball and a strike.
Good pitch. Dempster's got to feel like he just stepped out of the fire momentarily anyway when he got Chipper. He might get some confidence back and be a little more aggressive with Andrew.
In the dirt, good stop Barrett. That saved a run. Got to get a good secondary lead at third.
Talked about that brick wall behind home plate. There's no padding on it. There is a sign back there that could cause a funny ricochet, but if you're the runner at third base and it gets by Barrett, you've got to be very careful to make sure the ball doesn't come right back to him. It's a funny angle back there, but if it does, it could go anywhere.
2 balls and a strike. 3 balls and a strike.
This goes back to Frank Coors at bat last inning. 3-1. You know he's got to throw a strike. But if it's not something exactly in a little small zone where you're looking for the ball, you need to wait and try not to hit his strike in this case, but hit your strike.
Swing, fly ball, right field. That's going to tie it. Jones going back, still going back. He makes the grab. Pena's coming home. Braves have tied it. Ball pops away from Perez. Giles is going to try. Throw to the plate, high, and the Braves lead. The Braves lead. All the way around toward third goes Renteria. Giles stole a run.
Freddie Gonzalez stole that thing, Chip. Marcus went into third. He wasn't stopping his run, but he couldn't see what was going on behind him. Freddie Gonzalez could, and he never stopped waving. As soon as the ball squirted out of Perez's glove, Freddie was waving Giles home. You'll get a good look at it right here. Now watch Freddie on your lower part of your screen. He's waving. Marcus didn't see what was going on. Freddie did, and then a horrible throw. Are you kidding me?
Have you ever, I know I haven't. Have you ever seen 2 runs score on a sacrifice fly?
No. I think they're going to have to charge an error here, because there's no way Giles was going to try to score on that play were it not for the bobble by Perez.
So the Braves unbelievably off the deck in the 9th inning. 3 runs are in. It's a 6-5 Atlanta lead again, despite being out hit 12-5. Brian Jordan will hit, and the fans in Chicago can't believe what they just saw.
When the ball got away, it allowed Renteria to go all the way around to third base, but you could see there too, Napier Perez was in no hurry to go pick the ball up. I guess he just never expected Giles to run on that play, and it wasn't Marcus. It was Freddie Gonzalez, tip of the cap to the third base coach.
Was the throw from Jones high?
Yeah, a little bit. He had to jump a little bit for it, but it hit in the web of his glove and just kind of squirted out.
Because the reason I ask is Jones this year has been really ripped from missing cutoff man. Not making accurate throws, but that wasn't his fault.
No, it wasn't that bad. Perez, in fact, looked like he was kind of going into a hop in case he had to turn and make a throw.
Well, how about a little insurance? As the Braves bullpen is up and working to the right, and look who's up and throwing. It's Ken Ray for Atlanta. Jordan robbed by Cedeno at short last time up. And 40,000 fans in Chicago.
Stunned.
Well, it's you know, you ever you pay $9 and you see a bad movie. It's like being asked to pay $9 and go see the movie over and over and over again.
They could have easily charged 2 errors on that play that allowed the run to score and allowed Renteria to get around to third.
Little bloop. Jones in the Braves bullpen makes the catch. But Ryan Dempster's troubles continue, and the crowd tells the story. Braves by a run in the 9th.
It has French doors, more room, and ice and water right here on the door.
Love it now, pay for it later. Come to the Home Depot this Memorial Day weekend and take advantage of no payments, no interest for 12 months on purchases store-wide when you use your Home Depot consumer credit card. Plus, get 10% off select appliance purchases of $297 or more.
The Home Depot. You can do it, we can help.
Life, athlete's foot can break your rhythm. That's why there's Lamisil AT, advanced treatment. So powerful, it treats athlete's foot 4 times faster than other leading products. You get results on the bottom that work their way to the top. Lamisil AT. Go on with the rhythm of life.
You feeling better?
I'm getting there, but I do feel good that we have Aflac.
Glad I asked about it at work.
I'm glad it's helping pay the bills.
Electric bill, house payments, even Michelle's education. Helps with just about any bills our health insurance doesn't cover.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
It's every ball player's dream to play in the majors. Finally got my call with Boston in '04.
Tim Casey was a journeyman, and he got a cup of coffee for about 10 days and then had to go back.
10 best days of my life. This is a picture of me in the show with Poppy.
I don't remember Tim Casey.
The towels in the show are so absorbent. These guys love to hear stories about the show.
You can get flat water, you can get sparkling water. You can mix them together if you want.
Are you ready for the show? MLB 06, the show. Rated E for everyone.
You know what I mean, right?
Here's another angle on that sacrifice fly that led to 2 runs for Atlanta. You see the catch made. Now watch the throw. Not a bad throw. Neifi Perez charged with an error here that allowed Giles to score. And then on the throw that allowed Renteria to go to third, he charged with another error. 2 errors on the play, and he leads off the inning.
Stay hot. And he gets booed as he tries to bunt. Pena in to catch, and Ken Ray on to close it out.
Ken Ray out to close it today.
Ray does not have a major league save. And he's got to go through 2, 3, and 4 for the Cubs. This is unbelievable.
His first 22 outings, he's retired the first batter 19 times.
Another strike. 1-2 your count. Ryan Dempster, one of the game's good guys, going through a real rough stretch. The Cubs do not have a win this year when trailing after 8, and they're down to their last 2 outs. Oh, they lose this one.
Ugly, very ugly, and really, I mean, there's 2 errors on Perez that were the big play there in the 9th inning, the top of the 9th, but 11 walks. Come on, I mean, Dempster set it all up with a couple of hits, couple of walks, a wild pitch.
9 walks by the Cubs. I gave Joe some bad information. That's my fault. 9 walks in the game. As Todd Walker, the hitter, 2 for 4 on the day, and he looks at a strike. Boy, Ray, talking to him before the game, he said he'd love to have an opportunity to close, not at anyone's expense. But if you're in the major leagues and pitching in a bullpen, you want to have an opportunity to finish ball games off. Well, he's 1/3 of the way there in today's game.
Great opportunity for Ken Ray. You saw those numbers in recent outings.
A ball and a strike. Look at that pitch.
Good changeup. The
1-2.
And the thing that it's pretty simple for Ken Ray. He's pretty much a two-pitch guy, but he throws hard. He's got a fastball in the low to mid-90s, and he's got a changeup that is 10 miles an hour off, or 20 miles an hour off that. 10, beg your pardon, 94 to 84. I'll get my math together here in a minute.
Did you go to Georgia like me?
No, you'd have thought so, though.
Hey, only I can say that.
Speaking of putting it on a tee.
Yeah, you can't. I can say that. 1-2 the count. Walker, a good day at the plate, 2 hits and a run. 2-2. Don't get too cute. You've got Barrett, Jones, and Ramirez lurking, and we've seen what they can do today. Carlos Zambrano started this game for the Cubs and flirted with a no-hitter. But the Cubs trailing 6-5 to Atlanta. Flied center field. Andrews going to catch that. 2 out. Let him hit it to center all day long, Ken.
I'm wondering if the Cubs will have a clubhouse to go back to when this game's over. A couple of days ago down in Florida, Greg Maddux had a little hissy fit, took his frustrations out on a water cooler in the dugout. There's no telling what Zambrano might have done to some lockers.
And Paul Sullivan, one of the fine beat writers in baseball who writes for one of the Chicago papers, said there's no truth to the rumor that the water cooler was looking for its batting helmet. Swinging a miss, swinging a foul tip by Barrett.
Ray's come out throwing strikes. Give him credit. He is going right after the hitters.
There's Mad Dog. Braves are going to miss Maddux and Kerry Wood in this series. Wood's going to pitch Monday. Not sure who they'll pitch Sunday. A little low. Tomorrow, Horacio Ramirez off the disabled list for the first time since the opening week of the series. Sean Marshall, big, tall, rangy left-hander going for the Cubs. Popped him up, and this ought to do it. Renteria battling the high sky, and the Boo Birds are out as the Braves play takeaway while the Cubs play giveaway. Unbelievable. Bobby Cox and the Braves come back and win the most unlikely of games, 6-5 the final here at Wrigley.
In the West Finals, the stakes are high, and every game is huge. The Mavericks battled fiercely to the end. But it was the Suns who stole Game 1 in dramatic fashion.
Diaz puts the move on Stackhouse and scores.
Now down 1-0. Can Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavs recover and even the score? Suns Mavericks Game 2 tonight at 8. The drama of the Western Conference.